your phone.
And we are live. Thank you very much, everybody, for viewing this. At the moment, we don't have any live viewers, but we know that our fan base so far has been watching it afterwards. I know that you don't want to be here and you don't want the embarrassment of being live on camera.
We're intense, I understand, you know.
Hopefully our audio is working as expected.
If anyone comes on and we sound like Daleks, which isn't part of the game, the Dalek scenario will come later on, I'm sure. Can you just let us know? That'd be good, rather than getting through the entire scenario and then people saying I couldn't understand a word of it.
Yeah, and then we'll have to go stop and restart.
And restart, yeah.
Other than that, so last week we found that Caradak and Ulmakor, still in Reikdorf, discussing with the king that there was a portent feast that went ahead, and unfortunately the king had received some bad news that he would lose Queen Griselda and his unborn child during birth. But the Semnathai have noted, and specifically Erstat Drago said that he must travel to the hagwoman, the Brackenvalsh, and she can save the child and mother. However, the fear that they felt was palatable, and Ulrich had sent a message instantly and communicated with Erstat that he was angered by this fear, this weakness, and was demanding sacrifice. And Erstat told the king that his father's champion, Alvar, would be deemed as an acceptable sacrifice. However, prior to that, Ulmakor had grown a little bit. Would you think Ulmakor was suspicious of Erstat Drago's alignment?
Ulmakor is concerned that on two factors. Primarily that it's only been a few years since he was actually here. The changes that he's seen now in terms of the now burgeoning cities, something he's never seen before, that hasn't been communicated to Ulmakor via the Soviet, and as a Soviet member, he would have expected to know about this. In terms of Erstat is not would not be his choice as Zachanik with what he's seen now. In fact, it'd be the sort of thing that when he gets back to the Soviet, he'd be talking directly about this. This guy's only interested in furthering himself. He's not interested in being a Zachanik. He's possibly not even interested in being a Semnathai. The fundamental role of the Zachanik is to be the eyes and ears of the Semnathai in each individual tribal capital with the tribal leaders, kings, whatever they're calling themselves. And is Erstat giving us the information and giving us the control that we want? And I guess on the flip side, Ulmakor's concerned that maybe he is, and he's reporting this back, but it's not coming to members of the Soviet, which is also a worry. So there's a few things going on in his mind, but primarily, Erstat's not someone he would want to be Zachanik with. In fact, he thinks he would be pushing for this Zachanik to be replaced more so than the Northern Zachanik, who was considered to be Ingvar considered to be shown weakness by asking for help. This is up there with that. He's not Zachanik material. He's fallen. He's not doing what we need him to do. He's not giving us the intel that we need, and he's not giving us the control that we need. And it looks like he's moved away. He's more interested in money, which we're not interested in. We don't need money. We look for power and control.
Real power.
Yeah. So.
Of course, you've got the situation where Erstat Drago is under the protection, effectively, of Ingvar as well. So that's an interesting thing that Ulmakor has to be aware of and has noticed. As it stands, we've had Caradak. We saw Caradak was also had not been in his more comfortable role of bodyguard or warrior soldier, but was hiding out in tunnels and sneaking around, and he found we saw him find a bit of documentation. Again, with Erstat seemingly taking more interest in
material
setting
things?
up an empire, his own little world within the obviously this quite extensive trading post. So we'll see how Caradak deals with this new requirement of him, really.
We shall see.
Well, apparently so.
So, as it stands, the opening scene. The Portent Feast still has its welcoming guests. You have seen that there are representatives of all the major tribes, even to the point of the Thuringians are here. You've note the purple colours of the Jotuns, who are in the most active combat in border warfare with the Endels to the south, the Umberogans neighbours to the west. The Tulutans are still represented here, but you know that the Tulutans are the Umberogans, if anything, real direct threat. Tutujans are very much, you heard, allied, and you can see them represented here. The feast hall, the great hall, is full. The rabbit has been cut open and its entrails read by Erstat Drago, who has declared the risk to the king, queen, or mostly the queen and the child, obviously. Alvar is to be sacrificed to, well, basically because of the insult to Ulrich by the great king's fear. Alvar, the father's champion, is to be sacrificed before the next full moon and before the journey into the Brackenvalch can be undertaken. Otherwise, there is almost a guarantee that the king and his entourage will not make a very perilous journey. And as Alvar is obviously at the feast, Erstat makes this declaration: Alvar must be sacrificed in the name of Ulrich. And Ulmakor stands.
Yep. So I stand and basically address the whole. Wait 1 second, and approach and look at the entrails of the rabbit that's been vivisected and poured across, and pour my fingers into it as well, and move various things around and have a look. Let a calmness go over me. Turn and look at the roof. He has it right. He has it right. What he says is true. Alvar, I'm sorry, but this is how it must be. And he goes and sits back down.
You see, you note that the queen is pale. There's a sadness around her eyes. The king is, you can see the mix of emotion as Alvar turns to face his king. I served your father my entire life, my king. I am proud to have known your family. I have watched as Reikdorf has become something of import, and I know that I have helped in my way. If Ulrich deems that my sacrifice will see your child born into this world, I gladly stand forth. I am prepared now to go if needs be. Erstat looks to you to see if you're going to interject any more at the moment. There's just a quick moment of, you can see he's going to speak, but obviously he's waiting to see if you're going to step in.
And I'll say at this stage, whilst the gods have spoken, it's not a moment for haste. It's a moment for planning and preparation. And preparations to honour the gods need to be complete. There is no value in hasty actions. This obviously can only occur once, therefore it must be done properly. Do you agree, Erstat?
Of course, Sovit. That's exactly what I read and understand it to be. He steps away from the rabbit, which is being cleared away by the servants. There's that moment of silence, that heavy-laden, emotional feeling that sort of washed across the hall is still there, but as the entrails are cleared away and Alvar goes back to his seat, the hall starts to return to normal. Though it's bad tidings for the Unberogan family, for the tribe, it has little to no impact on the others, and the noise starts to come back up as the ceremony is effectively over. There's no grand fire display or anything like that. It's simply Alvar takes his place to the side of the dais where the king is raised up on his throne, on one of the tables, and the room starts to build up its audio. People start to drink and eat. It's still a bit more subdued, but you know that it'll get back up to that sort of level. As none of the tribes are given to long periods of remorse. This is still a celebration, because ultimately what's happened here is, even though they've had a bad portent, they've got the gods have given them a chance, and that is to prove themselves worthy. And that is the thing that the rest of the tribes are really taking as a message. You see the king is still a bit ashen, and the queen excuses herself, moving back around the heavy timbered and through the archway to the right into their living quarters, the more private area. Alvar basically starts drinking with more of the veterans, and the room goes back. You see Caradak to one side as the hall goes back to normal, and then Erstat makes his excuses, and you see him head into the archway where his room is.
Right, I'm going to head over to where... do I anywhere near Caradak at the same time as Erstat? Is he in the same...
Erstat would be passing him by. Right. If you move quickly,
well,
at a normal pace, you'd keep up.
Yeah, I'm moving because I want to have a conversation with Erstat.
Yeah.
And but as I get past near Caradak within ESP, like within successful.
Yes and no.
Okay. Gonna have a conversation outside the door and guard it. So I'll follow Erstat as he's heading there, and then as he's heading towards as he's approaching his room, before he gets to the door, I'll just say, Erstat, I'd like to join you for a second conversation.
Well, the archway that leads to his room is about 5-6 paces, so it is a short corridor.
Yeah.
And nobody's going into that corridor. There's nobody hanging around there. It's actually swept clean. And so you step through the natural lineup of the warriors, all drinking their mead and that sort of thing. You pass through that, and he's approaching his door.
Yeah.
Going for the latch. When you see that, he stops, turns, looks. There's a flash of anger and a little bit of frustration, and then nerves, worry.
Yeah.
Of course, Sovit, you are always welcome in my private area.
Let's be in there.
He opens the door and stands back to let you through.
Right.
You see the room is as you remember it last.
Right. Okay. And as Caradak will be coming out, and Caradak will ensure that we have complete privacy.
I'll stand to attention outside the door.
Yeah.
Okay. You close the door. You can hear them. You can hear the footsteps, so you know you're going to hear the birds.
Right. Okay. So, I'll just. Is there natural seating around there? I can't remember.
There's one chair by a table and a bed. You could sit upon the chest as well.
Right. Well, I'll sit on top of the chest. Sit. There, stood. No.
Sits on his chair.
This reading. What's your thoughts in terms of the need for Alvar to go? I didn't read that in the entrails, but I am only assuming that this has come from Ingvar.
The Visok's instructions were quite clear. To weaken the king and his people, to start off with Alvar. Alvar is somebody of great import. He has a lot of power and sway in the king's name, having been the trusted champion of the chieftain before him.
Good.
Red Bane.
No, that's good. That is exactly as was discussed. And
He seems to relax. You can see that there is that. Huh, okay.
yeah, I'm not going to give him a hard time over it.
Yeah.
And the king and queen, their journey in the Drakenfeld again. Alvar, Ingvar.
It seems to be the most dangerous place in the easiest. That's why we've restricted. He's restricted how many people are to go with him. Only his personal bodyguard. There's little to no chance that he can move in, and it would also be fitting that the king die where the remains of the Umberogan's greatest enemies are still reported to be.
Are we sure that will be achieved? My concern is that Bjorn and his retinue could survive. Do we have any way of if he was to come? My position is if he was to come out after having gone there, and he comes out, our position would be even more weakened.
My understanding is that if they even make it to the Hagwoman's area, then my understanding is that Buso will be leading some Vaktari to make sure that the king does not return.
So he's going to. So there are plans and precautions afoot to make sure that he doesn't get out.
Absolutely.
Obviously, I would not like to think that we'll be wasting Vaktari sending him to the Hagmother's area because it is a dangerous place. However, the gods sometimes can be fickle, and if Bjorn was to come back out of there, we would be diminished.
I'm sorry, Sovit. I don't want to assume that you know. I know something that you don't. But my understanding
You're the man on the ground.
The Hagmother has been dead for quite some time.
Right. That's not my understanding. But it is of no import. The main thing is that if these machinations are to be correct, if they're to work, Bjorn can't come out. If Bjorn comes out, the Semnathai will be much greatly diminished, and in fact, Bjorn's power will be accelerated, and would be a real threat to the Semnathai. You are aware of this, yes?
Yes, but I'm here just to do the Visok's bidding. It is his plan, and I am just to communicate.
You are all. No, stop. You are also Semnathai. You also possess the power of the Semnathai. You also possess eyes and ears. I look around this town, this growing town. It's become a thing that I don't recognise, of a size and import I was unaware of. And I'm uncertain as to how you're controlling Bjorn, because I don't see this. What I do see is that you are taking positions to enact power, but I yet don't see how that power is being utilised to control and shape Bjorn's direction. What exactly have you done to make sure that Bjorn isn't turning into what he actually is, which is a power broker to these southern tribes?
By by supplying a need for these travellers, a place where they will congregate and can be taken care of, perhaps, in more permanent fashion. I am simply trying to take advantage of a situation here in the name of the Semnathai. If they go to some of these areas within the town, they are more easily dispatched, but also drink and women loosen lips, and we are able to, hopefully, though nothing as yet has come of it, in time we will be able to learn much of what they are thinking as they talk freely in these places, not in the Great Hall, where they'll expect to be listened upon. I was given permission to do all this by the Visok. It was just something that I saw coming. We can't openly stop King Bjorn by simply stating that it is, the gods have said that he can't have a larger encampment, in which case we undermine him where we can. We find out their travel arrangements, what they're thinking of, and we can take more direct, permanent or secondary steps to make sure that he is weakened at any given turn. It'd take advantage of Bjorn's successes, but the Visok has deemed that he has gone too far and that he needs to be replaced. So if we destroy the Unberogan line by the king, the queen, and is there, then I will be in a better position to take command in the name of the Semnathai.
Interesting. You will take control.
The Visok's orders.
So we
in the interim, because we've
do we have
destroyed Alvar as well.
Do we have an Unberogan secondary line that we think they could take beyond?
Alvar would have been the next in line basically because of he has the support and the history, but we get rid of him first as Ulrich demands, and then we can get rid of the Unberogan line. The Semnathai will then lead the remains of the tribe until we find somebody that we're willing to put in command.
This has not been done in many a year. It is fraught. I would like to know your thoughts, and perhaps you could take some time, and we will meet later, so you can indicate who in the Unberogan tribe could be a potential more malleable replacement. As you are aware, I have knowledge of the Unberogan tribal families, being that I was Zaknik here. I'll be interested, but it is old information. I'll be interested to hear from you who you think is the next family that we could elevate to tribal leader or king, as they are now calling themselves. Just so I may understand this and perhaps give you some guidance and thoughts from my experience of being Zaknik here. But enough of that. I see that you have it at hand. You're working well under the direction of Ingvar, and I think that. In terms of the sacrifice, we shouldn't rush into it until we have had some chance to gauge Bjorn's reaction, gauge any ideas that may have are in his head, just so that we're aware of all the loose ends, so we can tie them up nicely, so that ultimately there is no Elvar, there is no Bjorn, there is no line. Right. Anything you want to tell me?
Nothing so it. Just I follow your word and that of the Visok. But of course I understand that you're part of his close council. So I am here to serve.
Right, I'll leave you. There is much to be done still within the party that's going on, and I would have the ear of Bjorn to see what he's thinking at this stage, to provide guidance.
So it.
And I'll stand up.
towards the door.
Oh, go out.
Right. I was wondering if the door
Yeah.
was suddenly going.
Yeah.
You know,
Obviously not.
no. You take that slow approach.
Like he's going to hear me.
No.
He's going to open it. He's not. Right.
Nope, you didn't.
No.
You open the door.
Oh, me? I'm
obviously.
supposed to open the door. Oh, what am I? Door opener.
What do you think I am?
So you hear the conversation. You hear the clear footsteps of Ulmakor approach the door.
You're approaching master.
Approaches for a second, and then opens. And there's a look of.
Yeah,
no
like,
doubt.
A stand of attention.
yeah, that's what I really need now. Attention.
I was too busy listening with a cup.
Lucky it's not a felt door. Just putting the door in.
What is that? Yeah.
Right, so you open the door. Obviously, you're not. I assume I'm not. Obviously, when you walk away, it's you know that the commanding walk. I'm not looking over my shoulder.
No. I'm just,
Yeah.
I'm out there. Hopefully, you know. Well, I'm just. I've had a chat with.
So as the door opens, you walk
Yeah.
down. Obviously, for that moment, you turn. You see the door as he opens it up and walks past you. And for that moment, you see sitting at his desk is Erstat Drago. His eyes are almost boring into yours. He's not watching his back. It's a hard to you don't quite read the emotion except just like killing gaze. You know that he's just sort of staring at you. You know that sort of like square cut of the jaw when he notices you standing there. Do you close the door, or walk off? Yeah. So the last thing you see is him sitting there glaring at you with hatred, but beyond, it's not a personal hatred by any means. But you know you've seen that look before.
You won't be getting any invite to the next party. Put it that way.
No cake for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you walk back into the main hall, which is still drinking. Warriors of all the different tribes are still standing or sitting. Food has been refreshed. Drinking ale, food. It's all going on.
It's all going on. I want to try and. I'll take. I'm going to find somewhere that's reasonably quiet out of the way, just so I can have a chat with Caradak, and just ask when I'm there when it was successful. Did we find anything of interest?
Search the room as you asked, Master. I found this. And I pull out the parchment. Out my armour.
Right.
Hand it over.
I'll quickly grab it and have a look. Just have you had a chance to have a read of this?
I did, from my basic understanding, it seems to be deeds to a property, I think.
Property. Okay. I'll have a quick look. You know, like literally speed scan it just to see if there's anything that jumps out.
It's strange, you've never seen anything like this before. It's a bit of paper that basically say you don't know what the power behind this is.
It's like a tally mark, is it?
It's basically saying that this building belongs to, a series of buildings are directly owned by Erstat Drago, and any financial changes, any money changes hands,
Yeah.
goes into his pocket. He owns these buildings and what goes on within it. You've never seen the like before. You don't know how. There's a law speaker, which you are as well. There is no law dictating the ownership of a building or whatever is going on here.
No, the tribe
including
owns
anything that's in there.
the tribes own the building. The chieftain is the head of the tribe. Therefore, all buildings are owned by the chieftain or directed during his tenure. And as a Semnathai, I own everything. So I have no. So this is an anathema. This is. All right.
Yeah, there's nothing in there is nothing in your training experience or anything that you can even remotely call upon to understand what you're reading there. You understand the wording behind it, that the building is his and everything that goes on inside it is belonging to him and he earns money from it, and that there's an there's anything within there, it's belongings, it's people. You know.
Okay. This is of interest. We may have to take a look at this building. If this was the important thing that you saw, then this could be a lead of some sort for us to maybe pay a visit to this or have a look at this building.
Perhaps we should take a closer look at his room.
Is there something in his room that we didn't see?
I did not, forgive me, I did not check the contents of the chest.
You didn't check the chest. It's the one thing I actually told you to check.
I'm not a thief.
No one expected you to be a thief. You're not a thief. You're working under my direct instructions. It's not thieving. Everything in here is owned by me. Is owned by the Semnathai. I didn't ask you to bring anything out. I need to know what was in that chest. The chest was something that he was sitting on like a expectant chicken. I wanted to know what was in that chest because he obviously puts value in it, and I need to know what that value is. I'm not necessarily interested in owning that value.
This is exactly why, Master, that we should inspect the room.
Yes, that's exactly why perhaps we were inspecting the room exactly when I asked you to inspect the room. Right. Well, that's another issue we're going to have to get to, isn't it? Because I still need to know what's in that chest. Is this of any import? Where was this? Was this in the chest? I said, I'm proffering the... was this in the chest?
No, this was in the...
So this wasn't hidden. This was just on display, not in the potentially locked chest that he has in value.
Was it hidden, or was it...
It was on a shelf.
It was on a shelf, okay. Go on.
This may or may not, after the opening, this may or may not be of any interest. It is of interest to me, but it may not be of primary interest to me. Nevertheless, we need to get in that
It
chest.
shows that he cannot be trusted.
No.
He's hiding things from the Seventh Eye Order, and he is not carrying out his tasks as ordered.
Well, that may not be true, or it may be true. He is hiding things, but I sort of knew that anyways. I wanted to know what was in that chest. You need to come up with an idea, Caradak. I need to know what's in that chest.
Very well, Master. Shall not let you down.
Well, again,
Don't say that laughing.
no.
It's because I said that last time.
Okay, right.
Oh, yeah.
Let's distribute yourself across this this meeting. Let's see if we can pick up the ears of and what the feeling is amongst the people in this hall to see what may or may not be what their thoughts of tonight's proceedings. I will speak to Bjorn, and then I will excuse myself.
How would you like me to proceed in the meantime, Master?
I would like you to go around and talk to your fellow warriors, and just keep your ear open for any signs or any intel of how they're reacting to this information. You may wish to go and speak directly with Alvar. You may not. I leave that to you. It's not something... warriors must speak. You must have your own camaraderie. It's not the Seventh Eye's way to be involved in that, but I imagine you will do. Spend some time. We will spend about an hour here. Make some excuses. I will come and get you if you haven't been able to disentangle yourself from where you are. And then I'd like to be able to go and have a look at what this building is. See what our good friend Erstat may be involved in going forward. But the main focus of what we need to do now, let's get a sense of how this is going down with the information. And I'll say, right, I'm going to go and see Bjorn.
Okay, Master, head off.
So you walk out from the archway at the back of the hall. King Alvar sits upon his throne to your left, very close. Did I say King Alvar?
You did say King Alvar.
King Bjorn.
Holy hell.
King and Alvar. I was hoping you were going to say King Alvar. Oh my God!
It is King Bjorn, the King and Alvar.
There's been a coup in the preceding 12 seconds.
Alvar stand there going, sod Ulrich.
Yeah, I'm in charge now.
Put a dagger.
Ooh,
Down with the Seventh Eye.
this is going in a way I didn't expect.
And so very quickly.
I learned how to run.
So yeah, the king is sitting upon his throne, slightly slouched.
Yeah.
Not from drink, but from sort of like it's not a good day.
No.
You know, I'm going to lose my child if I don't put my queen and child in extreme danger. But it might be slightly less dangerous if I kill my father's best friend, who's no doubt been an uncle to him. Alvar is one foot on the step, one on the ground, sort of leaning in. They're talking as you come out of the archway, and you're looking at all the different coloured sashes and robes and clothing and kilts and of the different tribes. You note that the Thuringians are not there at all. The Endels and Thuringians, with the Burgundians, Azerborns, but specifically the Endels and the Azerborns, you note, are a lot closer to the king. That grouping. The rest of everyone's fairly around the place. There's men, women in equal number, servants moving backwards and forwards. But you do know that the Endels specifically and the Thuringians are a lot closer to the king, their group, than the other tribes. Whether that's just pure coincidence or is meaningful, it's just something of note However, like I say, the Thuringians are missing, and as you watch, the Teutones are walking out. There's a couple of them still in there, but you note 3 of them leaving through the main double doors of the hall as you approach the king and Alvar.
I'll sort of interject myself into so they can see I'm coming to speak to them. So that if I take it they're not talking, they're just. Or are they talking?
Alvar is
muttering.
currently speaking to the king about something. Well, you're pretty sure you know what it's going to be about.
Yeah.
Reassuring him perhaps that it's the right thing to do and that he's fine with it. And as you get close, like I say, the background noise of the hall is quite invasive. You know, they're being very rowdy. You obviously step in. The king, Alvar notes you, and Alvar steps back to allow you closer to stand right beside the king. The large man is obviously being consoled by the old champion.
Yeah, King Bjorn, if I may have some of your time. Tonight's feast and portent is obviously not as gone as well as we all had envisaged, and the gods can be fickle. The gods have given us a way out of perhaps some of the calamitous extremes of what they've outlined through your Zakonik. It isn't not as always as bad as it seems. And I turn to look at Alva. Clearly, my friend, I'm not trying to diminish your contribution and what's been asked of you by the gods. I would also caution, and not to give any sense of false hope, that sometimes the gods can change their minds. And I don't mean this, in a way of suggesting that your contribution is going to be as final as has been outlined. However, there may be more to what you need to do before that final sacrifice. We are all at the whim of the gods. Your personal family's history in serving the king is well noted and is well understood, and the gods take that into account. Ulrich, as you know, is a very he lives with his emotions out for all to see. His exasperation was there for all to see, and that's why this declaration has been made. It may be that Father Tal, the leader of the gods, may still have his sway. Despair is not something that you know. I've known you for many years, and that's not what you have exhibited. I will be here to help guide King Bjorn and his family through these tasks. Be assured of that. And your sacrifice will also be noted if it is required. If there's anything that you need me to do to help you with this in this journey of yours, just say so, and I will be happy to explain and guide you to where you need to go.
Both King and the old champion quietly sat or stood in different contexts. Respectfully listening, as you do. The Senath I speak, you don't interrupt. But you see that there's a calmness upon Alva. I have no problems with giving, as champion to his father, and as soldier and warrior to himself, to the king and friend. My entire life has been putting my life every day in their hands. It's a willing sacrifice. This is no different. It is now my time. I am now old. I can no longer stand in the shield wall. I can no longer fight our enemies. Ulrich calls upon this old warrior to come and fall before him through the cemetery. It is a massive honour. It is a great honour. I don't have to worry about falling into dotage. I'm wondering why Ulrich didn't bring me to his halls. Now I know why. This is where it ends. And to give my king and his queen even a slight easier passage, I'd have died for less. But now I have a purpose.
It's good. It is good, Alva, that you understand that the significance of your life and the significant effect that your life will have on King Bjorn and his line. It's good. It's good. I wish merely to allay any sense of that quiet part of the warrior's psyche before that shield wall is attached, to reassure you that we all stand with you.
Thank you, Senator.
Yeah, it's doing that just before it starts, the squeaky part.
The king, as you know, far more he's a lot more aggressive in most things. His emotions go from one to another, and you know that the Senathai side of things is he gives you great respect because he knows you. he watched you grow for several years, and you have a friendship side of things. But you also know that as a king, they are absolute powers, and they don't like to share that much either. He doesn't fear the Seventh-Eyes. He does his job by the gods. He does his job by the Seventh-Eye, by the Zakonik that's beside him. But ultimately, it's
he's his own man.
he is definitely his own man. He's sort of, he's kind of slouched there. He sits up as you're talking. Talking to Alvar. Ulrich has his own ways. I showed fear at the loss of my child, but that didn't mean that it was controlling me. But Ulrich has taken it as an insult, and that is the way of him. He is a harsh god, but he is a fair god. He calls upon me to allow Alvar to be taken. But what I don't understand, Seventh Eye, is which god has decided that my child and wife should die? What have I done? What has the Umberogan tribe done except worship Ulrich, fight our enemies, and yet my line will die unless I take them into the Brackenvalsh, where my father pushed the Skriani, the final battles into those rotten hell, where the Darklings still ride. There is no more dangerous place in the lands of man, and I have to take my pregnant wife and child there, because if not, they will die into a place where they will likely die. Which of the gods have I possibly offended?
You, like I mainly am a conduit of the gods, and certainly will be my focus over the coming days, to understand which of the gods and why the gods have set this heavy burden in front of you. All I can say is that as your advisor previously, and still the advisor at the periphery of the Umberogans, I seek to understand why this has occurred. I seek to understand how this can be made better than it is at the moment. All I will say is that I will be accompanying you. You shall not stand alone. I will be there to hopefully to be able to bring guidance to this quest. I don't wish anything to come to you or your wife or your unborn child. I can't guarantee that the gods will not exact their heavy toll on you, but I will guarantee I will be there with you when it happens.
Tell me, Ulmakor, in all your years that you've been with the Seventh Eye, have any of the Soviet fallen?
Soviet?
So you're at the council level.
Yeah.
Have any fallen beyond just simple old age or the demands of the Visok?
It is an unusual, it is not unheard of, but it has been many years since Seventh Eye, at my level, put themselves perhaps in those harm's way. Yeah, but again, it's at the guidance of the gods. They don't do it capriciously. They don't do it for their own means. They do it when the gods tell them to.
So chosen of the gods as you are, the fact that you will be on this journey, then that is a good portent for me that my wife and child will perhaps actually see the dawn of his birth.
Absolutely.
The gods would not surely put one of their chosen in such dire line.
It's never happened before, but we don't know that. We have insights into the needs of the gods, but we don't know their minds, all of them. I myself have felt and have received no messages from the gods that this quest of yours will be anything other than successful, and maybe it's because I am coming along that that's going to occur. Needless to say, I am coming along.
Well, thank you for your reassuring words. I will spend most of tonight awake with my wife. She will not have taken this news lightly. She will not fear for her life, just their unborn child that she's carried for such a long time. To think all the wise words from the Zakonik and the other tribes and their Zakoniks, that the twin-tailed comet was a portent of greatness, and that it comes at the time of my wife's pregnancy. And yet, is it a sign of goodwill? Is it a sign that the gods are in favour? Or is it a sign of something darker? I hear a word that the North rises in power, that they've found new gods. These northern gods are dark and powerful, and that they bring much death with them. Obviously, this far in the south, not all word travels, but that is the reason that we must gather together and hopefully the seventh eye will give it its blessing. But that's neither there. That's why I had everybody here. And now they see that potentially the gods themselves are turning from us. It weakens my position.
The gods have not turned for us. The gods always have tasks. The comet itself is a portent of change. Change is upon us, and that is true. What we have to do is succeed in the will of the gods so that the change is beneficial for us, and not fail in front of the gods so that change is not beneficial for us. We must steel ourselves for the quest. It won't be easy. It will be difficult, but in the end we will prevail by the blessings of the gods. I'll leave you to spend time with Elvar and your wife, and I go to commune with the gods and take time away and think about what needs to be done in the coming weeks. And I'll move away, give them time to...
Well, you could just, just spend some time just chatting. I mean, you've known Alvar, like I say, and King Bjorn for some time, so you can just, while a little bit of time away, just having that sort of level of conversation. It's almost just grey noise,
right,
just to calm the soul and that sort of thing. Because there is not just the seventh eye king ex-champion relationship. There is actually genuine friendship between the three of you. So it wouldn't be
remiss
for them guys for you just to go get an ale and go and just being crude and just talk.
And they're going, wait a minute, the Pope's still sat here. Nervous.
Yeah. So they see your position, but there's also the term which is almost as if you take your dog collar off and throw it in the corner, then it's like, right now we're down to the ale and cigars. So it wouldn't be, there is that friendship level thing that you could support. Obviously, a little bit further back, so as Ulmakor steps to the left, you are standing on the left wall of the hall. You see the Thuringians are missing. You see several of the Jotuns leave through the Great Hall. You note the Endels and the Thuringians seem to be closer to the king's area. Equally, Umbrogan warriors move around the place. And you can't help but note there's chainmail being worn. There is daggers and swords are still at hip. But there is a calmness here about these normally... these warriors who would normally fight each other on sight. But yeah, so what's your thoughts?
My thoughts are, well, keeping a close eye on Erstat's quarters.
Behind you, you're standing in his archway.
Okay, so
he's closed the door now. In a couple of minutes, a couple of moments it took you to get to the edge of the hall.
But so I've got one. I'm going to keep an eye out on Erstat's quarter and make my way around to the front where Alvar is.
Alvar and the king and the seventh eye are in discussion.
Oh, they're still in discussion. Okay, so this is happening. So what I'll do is I'll stand there for a moment, just sort of listening out, see if I can hear anything unusual, any from Erstat's room, anything of note, or particularly I wanted to leave, so I could go back in. But
if anything, you just, like I say, closes the door.
Right. And I will just stand there, sort of just observing from a distance and wait till they are finished in discussion so I can go and speak with Alvar, the champion.
Right, so there's no way to be distant. You're all in a crowded hall.
Yeah.
So
I say distant, I mean, sorry, I don't know what the distance between us and the front is. I'm assuming that the archway at the back is where I'm standing.
Which is near the throne.
Oh, is it which is near the throne? Oh, okay, so I'm on the other side. Okay.
Yeah. So basically, imagine that the way that this table is, effectively, you are, at one end, the throne room is there, and the entire hall then passes back in this direction.
Okay.
And you're at one end.
So I'm closer to...
Yeah, you're within about
the
10 paces of the seventh eye.
Okay. Well, that's perfect then. That's ideal. So I'm listening out. If nothing changes, I'll wait till they finish the conversation and I'll head over to Alvar.
So we're having a conversation, blah, 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 and then we don't... So the thing is, just to bear that in mind, in case you didn't get that, I'm having the big conversation about the nature of what's just happened. Yeah. Then we're just going back into spitballing. Hey, how's it going? So we haven't stopped conversation.
Oh, okay. Well, if it's nothing of it, I can tell. I'm not an idiot. I can tell it's, if you're not... The important bit's done. I will head over to Alvar just quietly, with an ale.
Oh, okay, right. Well, you become aware that the Vaktari of Caradak approaches the dais.
So obviously, I don't have my helm on, so put that away.
So I'll be like thinking.
Well, you'll think he's approaching you.
Yeah.
Caradak.
Apologies, Master Ulmakor. I would just like a moment with the Master. What's his name?
Alvar.
Alvar, sorry.
Alvar, he looked a little bit surprised, a little bit taken back. Of course.
Yep. Okay. I'll carry on talking to Bjorn and thinking.
Yeah, he steps down from the couple of steps up to the throne room and walks a bit off to one side. You walk past the end halls and there's lots of shoulder clapping and congratulations on being chosen by Ulrich. Yeah. He gets himself. You've obviously got a horn of mead or goblet. Yeah. He gets one from a serving girl. How can I help you, Victoria?
I thought it's time for all to share stories since it's probably going to be the last time we get to share them.
What would you want to know?
You have many scars. I'm sure you have many tales to tell.
I could go on all night. We could empty this place of drink.
More importantly, how do you feel about what's been said?
About my sacrifice, or about the threat to the unborn child and my queen, or both?
Both.
He does. You're aware, but you're sort of like, what's
Can you
going
hear
on
me?
here?
Yeah.
No, you can't.
That's
no,
all.
well, you assume.
Yeah,
that
I'm
can't.
assuming that. Well,
Nobody,
I'm hoping that he
there's
can't
lots
because
of
this is something that needs to be.
You've moved away now.
moved
But
away,
well, I'm sort of like I'm thinking,
What?
what's going on? Why is he talking to him?
No, this is not. This is something I'm not. This is a conversation which I need to have in private.
Yep.
Yeah.
No. It's all right. It's just I'm a bit like,
Yeah.
what's he talking about? What's he talking about?
Yeah. What do I feel? In particular, about myself, it's. I'm happy to go. It is an honour. It's not bravado. As I was just saying to the king there, I'm old. I can't fight anymore as well as I used to. What am I supposed to do? What is a warrior supposed to do when he becomes too old to carry his armour, to hold his sword? He's pointless. There is nothing. And yet Ulrich has given me an out. This is a reward. I can help my queen and her child. I can help my king.
But, Master Warrior, do you believe this is the word of the god?
Well, what else could it be?
Talk of a madman?
Who?
Who am I to say? The politics of the Semnathai and the Zakonik. How far do you trust the Zakonik?
This one? I don't trust him at all.
So if you don't trust him,
I think he's a slimy toad.
So do you feel that the slimy toad could be completely wrong? That this in fact is not the word of the god, and that you are giving your life for absolutely no reason other than his own agenda?
Well, it's dangerous talk, Victoria, and I'm a bit concerned since you turned up with one of the most powerful Semnathai that I have known for many years. If it wasn't for the fact that Ulmakor stepped forward and then also read into the entrails, it might be something that would cross my mind, but I'm not willing to take that chance. However, Ulmakor himself stated that it is true. So I am very happy with the result. Do you believe that Ulmakor is also following this line? Because I trust Ulmakor.
I trust Ulmakor.
You definitely sense that he's become guarded. Like many people.
However, as a Factory, I stand guard to many doors. I hear things, others may not. So this is perhaps a warning. Here's the thing, Alvar, I don't even know why I'm doing this. I don't even know why I'm here. Why I feel the need to take you away from your friends, from your kin, and chat with you as I am now. Because at times I'm afraid to chat with my own master, Ulmakor, who I've known for many years, since I was a child.
Well, be relaxed here, my friend. There is nothing that you can say that, and I mean this truthfully, there's nothing that you can say
I just
that would
hope
pass from my lips and put you in danger.
I just hope, Alvar, that you're not giving your life in vain. And that worries me.
No. Even the concept, even if it is lies, even if the Zakonik is, for whatever reason, deciding that my death is something that's important to him, it makes no difference because it will give my king and my queen hope.
Would it though?
Of course.
Even if it were a lie?
But they were told.
By...
It doesn't, but it matters not. And I won't take this away from them either. They were told by my death, Ulrich will smile upon them and make their journey easier. It doesn't matter if it's a lie. They believe it, and they must continue to do so. And that, if that's all it does, is worth it. Because what else do I have, my friend? You are still young. You are grown powerful and tall in your many years. I am old. I had a child at beyond my prime. I was already becoming old, and I was unable to watch him grow. But I'd like to think that he would have grown as tall and strong and powerful as you, to be almost a personal bodyguard to one of the Soviet. That is an honour, and for me to see something like that, to be told that I have a purpose now, I'll go to the block gratefully. It's not always about right and wrong. Sometimes it's about the belief.
You would die simply for your belief alone. Do you not question it?
I don't die for Ulrich. I don't die for my belief in the Cenithai. I die in the belief that my king, queen, and their child will have an easier go, an easier journey in life. That's who I die for. I die for the living. I've been given a very clear path here, and I couldn't ask for a better one. I've not been asked to die for the Cenithai or a cause, simply to make their journey easier. I am very willing to follow that path.
Have you ever considered what your death could do?
It gives them hope.
No. Look around you. These clans, these tribes, they're all here. What would your death do to King Bjorn's position, Queen's position, Reikdorf? What would happen to it all?
Oh, you think that I'm somehow important to Reikdorf? And
not just you, your king. What would happen to your king after your death? Does that not weaken your position or his position?
Every warrior in the king's command that passes weakens his position. I am no longer. There is no need for champion. The king did not name another champion. I am not replaced. Therefore, I do not hold a position of importance beyond his friendship. If I pass, and I pass in the name of Ulrich, it won't be questioned by the tribes.
You crazy old fool.
And perhaps I am. Perhaps I am. But it will be a quick death, a clean death, and it means a lot to my king and my queen. I have many regrets. Like I said, my firstborn child, I lost him. If I could have, I would have been able to protect him, but I knew when he was taken from me at birth that it was the will of the gods. And because I've been close to them, because I have seen things that many warriors haven't, I'm happy to stand here now and look upon someone such as yourself, a chosen warrior, a Vakhtari, and realise that there are so many different paths, and not all of them seemingly are directed. I have been given direction, lied or not, by the Saxnic. He will come undone, or he won't. It makes no difference to me. But why so involved? I've rarely spoken to the Vakhtari, and I am glad that I've got to speak to you. Are you all so thoughtful, or is it something that's
No,
unique?
this is unique to me. Perhaps I'm Ulrich's champion.
Ulrich's champion? That's an interesting thought.
I've been in many battles, yet I have no scars. Apart from that.
Your face has been cut in half, but apart from that,
Yeah. It's just a mere flesh wound.
So nobody told you about that then? Okay. Right.
Gets very sensitive about that. Don't mention it. Doesn't look bad, does it? No. It helps you.
You've only been hurt once, I see. Yes.
As a child. In training.
You'll have to forgive me, Victoria. I'm unaware that of how the Semnithai and their warriors are. My belief, my understanding, is that the Semnithai don't follow one god in particular, and the Victoria follow the Semnithai. Why do you feel that you're the chosen of Ulrich? Because you've only been hurt once. There are many warriors. Ulrich himself, do you not think would he choose you? I don't know. That doesn't seem right to me, my understanding of Ulrich.
Why?
Well, Ulrich is a fierce god, as we both know. Only through challenging ourselves, fighting at the front, throwing yourself in the thickness of battle. Why the tribes themselves are so ferocious is every one of them is keen to be at the thickest part of the fight, to be at the front. The Victoria are different. You don't fight like that. That is why you've defeated the tribes over the years every time there's been a major conflict. We know that. Only the Thuringians are stupid enough to think, and he looks around quickly, that the Victoria are a challenge. We don't see you as a challenge, we see you as punishment. If none of us want to see the Victoria in formation, in large groups heading towards us, except the Thuringians who wish it.
Yes, we are a threat.
But the Thuringians seem to be closer to Ulrich than any other. However, the Teluttans claim that. The Teluttans claim they are the children of Ulrich, and you just don't look. I don't know.
Why is it so hard to believe, Alvo?
7 cups of ale, I think, is probably the problem. I think I speak too fancy. I think my lips are too loose.
He's
I
a
apologise.
champion willing to give his life up for your cause, and yet you do not believe when I say I'm Ulrich's champion.
I didn't know you'd said you were. Sorry, Victoria. I thought you said you believed, and that's different in my mind. You know, if you are or you believe you are.
I believe I am.
So I genuinely believe, then you are truly a mighty warrior. And that'll explain why Ulmakor has you by him. No other warrior of renown could possibly stand in the way of the champion of Ulrich, chosen of Ulrich. Then I am humbled, and I apologise for my loose lips, my frivolity, when there was obviously a sense of seriousness there.
As a champion, do you not want to die by the sword in battle?
That would have been my choice, but nobody was capable. Nobody happened. No matter what I fought, nothing brought me down. I am now old, and I am not a challenge to anybody. It would be like choosing to fight a child. Where's the glory for the person that destroys me? Where's the glory in it to me, knowing that I'm going to die in a fight? There is no glory in any direction now. I am for my champion.
Okay.
Are you offering to kill me in some kind of ritual combat? It hardly does you honour. It does nothing for me.
No.
Ulrich doesn't say that I want my warriors to be stupid as well. At least he didn't to me.
I'm sure wherever your child is, he'd be proud to see his father. You're an honourable man, Alvar. I've learnt a lot in these brief moments just sitting here. I don't understand it. I still think you're a madman. Yet, in a strange way I do.
And we are both Ulrichans. My understanding is that the Victoria are taken. I've seen many tithes, and that you do not know the tribe that you came from or your own father. In the short period that I am here, I would like to honour whoever your father is. Wherever he is, may the gods willing that he is alive somewhere. You're watching with less than distracted Like,
Sorry, Bjorn. I don't know what was that?
shh, shh, shh.
Yeah,
And then, Bjorn, at one point you actually turn and you see both the Seraphite and Bjorn are like, oh, no. But both are staring intently at you and Alvar.
Trying to lip read, like.
Yeah, their conversation's like,
I think he says.
This isn't normal.
Alvar looks over and goes, don't worry.
Yeah. I turn back to Bjorn. That's not
Bjorn's like, Alvar, enough. You've taken up too much of the Victoria's time. Come and stand here.
So I'll toast Alvar, and I'll
Don't smash
head
me
up.
cup. You Ulrican crazy man.
And I'll head off. Because I can
under the stair.
I can just feel the glare of the sun of eye.
Yeah, the Seraphite and the king of the underworld just staring intently in the back of your head. Come here, Alvar. My king.
Goodbye, Victoria.
Interesting conversation we just had with your Victoria. This is Alvar, obviously.
Right. Yeah. Yes, he's a unique individual. I'm sort of like, what has he been talking about? Like, because
He was just talking about Ulrich and his demands on us and the warrior in all our hearts. He's very insightful. He's very grounded. Is your Victoria. And do you mean to take him with us on our journey?
He will be.
Well, sorry, you didn't say us because he didn't assume to be on it. On your journey.
yeah. Caradak goes wherever I go. Caradak is someone that I have worked with on my journeys. He understands what I need, and he is probably, despite the, as you can imagine, huge internal pressures that go on amongst the Victorias to prove who is the best spear. I've always thought that Caradak is the best spear, and that's why I take him with me.
He lowers his voice, and that gladdens my heart, and then goes quiet as he is just broken a very, you said that sort of uncomfortable.
Shouldn't have said that.
Shouldn't have said that. Yeah.
He works out. Yep.
I'm gonna, if you give me my leave, my king, I will go see the queen, and make sure that she understands that I am very happy with the outcome of my involvement in this. Of course, Alvar. And he walks off so you see the king go. That was Godric.
Godric. Yes. Godric amazes us all by the fact that Godric will outlive us all. The gods have so much in plan for Godric that Godric does not even know. He is not as flight foot as he was. His brain, however, his mind is sharp and he knows the gods' needs. I'm gladdened every day when I see Godric come out of his tent and we talk on many things. Godric, I've now understood why Godric hasn't wanted to become more in the Semathai, because Godric could, if he so wished. I suspect it's because the gods have more in store for Godric than I know of. But it does gladden me to see him every day. A friendly face and an insightful mind.
Well, Alvar did speak at length, and has done, especially when in his drink, especially as the years have gone by of that night and the message that he received. Those years were heavy on him until the day that you, as a Zakonik, came with the tithe. That tithe was a hard one that year for some, but it has borne fruit. It's strange that everything is coming together. Shame that Godric isn't here though.
Yes.
If he's too old, not for him.
Godric is where the gods want him to be. Godric watches out for all tribes. Morgan's being one of the tribes he looks out for. He is currently doing the gods' work in other places. Tithing is always hard. It is the capricious way of the gods to come up with such a system. However, in times where we do tithe and we end up with someone like the qualities of Caradak, you can understand why the gods clearly have purpose in this method. And yes, it is heavy, but I am happy that that's the process that the gods come up with.
There's his voice is low. Does Caradak know of his past?
No.
I understand that.
No.
What does happen if a Vakhtari discovers his connections?
You get your fingers in the air. You're in the air, are you?
Yeah.
It is not the Semnothai way. In previous generations, when there was more openness about how this the tithing was carried out, it brought division, it brought issues, it brought favoritism to one tribe or the other. The one thing that the Semnothai are above all is we are here to help all tribes. Favoritism would then see the best of the needs of man not served. If we are seen to be favourites, if we are seen to have favourites, if we subconsciously, if we work for favouritism, then we would have chaos. We would have tribe against tribe forever in intestine wars, and man would not be served, and the will of the gods would not be served. We cannot have the Vakhtarian understanding who they are. They are there to serve the gods, as we all are, and they are better served not knowing their past, because their past is not important. Their past was just the means by which they arrived under the will of the gods. From the moment they were chosen, they are now under the will of the gods. The gods don't need anyone to understand their background. Hard though it may be, in times when we understand what's going on, it would be a less effective tool. It would be equivalent of putting the sword back into the fire to retemper an edge. It can happen to retemper an edge, as you know, King Bjorn, but most of the time what it does is it breaks the sword, provides a floor for its eventual breakage. That's why we can't do it.
As they've been talking, because bear in mind that this isn't just one conversation and the world pause, obviously, you've moved away.
Yeah.
Did you leave the Great Hall, or did you move into the Great Hall?
No, I was in the Great Hall.
Did you
move away? Yeah.
But have you left, or have you stayed?
No, I want to keep a close eye on. I'm still keeping a very keen eye on Erstat's room.
Well, that hasn't changed. The door's
Okay,
still. He's never left. The crowds haven't thinned. You see Alvar heads around the back into the private area of the king, of his home, and conversation between the king and the Semnothai, Soviets in particular, Ulmakor, has become very close. You can see their heads have come together and they're in deep conversation. And the fact that it's the king's throne, there's a respectful distance around him anyway. So they're in deep conversation about something, and their attention is very much riveted on each other. And you move around the hall and people generally get out your way. Every one of them has that sort of like Vakhtari. They're not running. They're not dairy maids. They're not all it's Vakhtari, he's going to kill us. But they realise that shoulder barging you is probably not clever. But there is going to be little challenges from time to time.
Start a pub fight.
Pub fight.
What are you looking at?
So yeah, you move around and people turn away from you. You've been around the tribes before. They're mixed. Some see you as creatures, a little better than some of the things they fight. Others just, that you're too aloof, you're too arrogant. But you're also the executioners for the Semnothai. It's a mixed bag, but none of them are, they're cool cats, let's hang out with them. Nobody wants to engage with you. Makes it easier to walk through the crowd. But you do feel those glances a little bit too slow to look away of, ugh. The Vakhtari are not loved. So you can just walk around the hall aimlessly if you wish, while they're talking, or...
How far is was it the docks? Do I know from the parchment where that area is to sort of do some reconnaissance?
Yeah, you can leave if you wish.
Yeah, I'll do that then while they're in deep conversation.
So you leave the hall?
Yeah.
Yep, okay. This is obviously at this point you'd be completely unaware that he's left the hall.
Yeah.
Okay, so you leave the hall itself. The streets are fairly quiet. There's the odd person basically leaving the hall itself. Nobody's coming towards the hall. You come out, there's a few sort of people have moved off towards the dock area, as well as the eastern aspect, the eastern wall, both of which are areas you walk through during the day. The dock, the older part of the older dock itself is where they had that sort of that timber construct That is well lit. You can see a large fire in a pit, and there's a lot of noise coming from it, men and women, and the sound of drinking and joyfulness. It's still a celebration of the feast. But you also are aware that if you look across the dominantly dark town, the odd pole light has been lit, so that's not complete and total shadow.
So I'll get a cloak. Sorry, I should have mentioned. I'll get a cloak.
Yeah.
My God.
Because I'm Lady Victoria, I'm going to stand out.
Yep.
If I'm in, if I go like this, so yeah, I'll cover myself up.
Okay. So yeah, you stand at the edge of the Great Hall, and you can see that there's a section
So I'm
of the
just
town.
confused if you're getting the big Victoria cloak with Victoria on the back. Oh no,
Security.
How do they know?
How do they know who I am? Well, the big thing that says Victoria all over it.
So the town is either gone to sleep or it's partying. You know, there are people that are workers. They've got to be in the fields. They've gone to bed. You know, they've had that one ale. There's a large town. So, two places distinctly even stand there. You go, there's the dock. That's going live. And you look off to the eastern wall, and a corner between the two main, just past the northern gate towards the eastern sector. And you know that's the area that you came through, where there was and several buildings had been put together with an outer wall, and you can see that they're still lit, and the sounds of travel, the sounds of celebration travel on the air.
So according to the parchment, it was a dock, so I'll head towards the docks, right?
It covered several buildings.
Am I able to locate them?
It didn't have addresses. They don't have street names and all that sort of stuff. It just basically names
Just
them.
says, okay. Well, I'll head to the docks first.
Yep. Yeah. Heading down to the docks, you know that obviously the stalls and the workers and the ships themselves are moored, but there is no work going on. That large timbered, no walled building, it's not a lean-to at all. It's a covered drinking area where there's people sitting at rough tables on rough chairs. There's some shredded meat, chicken and the like. Drink is flowing. Women are on laps or punching men out. It's quite an enjoyable looking environment.
We're in town. I think I've been to that pub before.
And you can see that there's a mix of tribal colours, and everybody's they are sticking to their groups. They're not mixing, but the fact that the groups are together in itself is, again, just you can't get past it. You know. As you walk forward, I'm assuming you approach. Or?
Yeah.
All right. You getting a drink?
Yeah, I'm mixing.
Right.
So I've got a mix, yeah.
So you wander up.
Yeah.
Now, drink. Yeah, give us a right.
Give me
And
a
it's a
drink.
rough wooden cup. You dips it and goes 2 bits.
I'm assuming I have money, right?
No. What?
What? Why don't I have money?
Well, why do
I
you
don't
need
get paid well.
it?
I don't get paid enough.
You've never been charged? You know, walked up to somebody and went, can I have a drink? Yeah, and they charged you for the service? What?
Oh, okay.
2 bits? And you go,
I'm sorry.
If he was selling cloaks
Yeah.
or a sword, you'd understand. So, yeah. You've never been charged for a drink before?
Particularly not. Particularly not a Victoria.
I'm assuming even as a Victoria, I wouldn't need to shop because I get everything given to me. Yeah. So,
Victoria shopping.
The basket.
Everyone.
Victoria.
Victoria's
are us.
Like this with with some fruit.
Yeah.
It's got a bit soft.
I'm not going to use that one. Why have you got anything better? Anything you want, don't kill me.
You see a guy in the grey checkered, very similar. Dark and lighter grey checkered clothing of an Endel.
Hello, Nevin.
Walks. He's fairly close, and he leans forward and takes a ring from his beard out and goes, "That'll do." The guy accepts it and just gives you his cup. I'm just aware of comments coming through.
Doesn't pay for his beers. That's normal.
What do you mean?
This is not role playing. This is just
real life.
This is just Talbot.
2 bits. No.
I don't carry money. I'm like the Queen.
Right.
So yeah, the guy's he's standing there. He's
Is he any particular clan, tribe?
Endel. Yeah, he's got His sword is at his hip. He has several bits of metal, of gold and iron and that sort of thing wrapped around his wrists and different bangles, as it were. Torques. He's got quite a heavy one around his neck and quite a lot of warrior rings into his beard.
I thank you. Where do you... I see you're... Endel.
Yes. And you're Victoria. Is that what we should call each other, Victoria?
I'm just wearing my special non-Victoria cloak that only Victoria wear.
No, well, that's it, yeah. He calls it out straight away.
Oh, whatever. Just throw the cloak aside. Clean something again.
Sorry, were you trying to hide the fact that you're Victoria?
Yes.
But you wear no other colours of any other tribe and were seen coming in with the seventh eye.
I'm not good.
Are you not good? I'm not good.
I am not good.
And also, you've not mastered our language. You stood beside the seventh eye on guard in the king's feast. I don't know who you are.
Okay.
You speak with a Victoria accent.
Exactly. That's how. I mean, that's how I actually talk and sound to everybody else.
Yeah. I don't know how they work out. I'm not actually from here.
Yeah, you look down at they've got their boots, their clothing, and realise that no, you don't dress in any way, shape, or form like any of the tribes.
Well, come on. To be fair, I never really need to mix and hide.
Exactly.
So yeah.
It's hilarious that you thought putting a coat on, but this is
I
about
thought this would work. I've seen it in the movies, right? It's worked.
Yeah, you are no doubt. I'm assuming. Do you feel put out that you were your disguise was so quickly
yes, I
undone?
do. Yes.
Maybe this guy is eagle-eyed, and maybe there's something special about him.
No, get down.
Perhaps.
Cat.
But I feel it. Well, he just clearly said why.
We saw you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you walk in. Oh, okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Gotta work on
Look
that.
at this cloak. I need a new cloak.
This cloak that I stole.
Yeah. Someone's going out. Cloak. Best cloak on. Well, that Victoria took it. You can have it.
Yep. Okay.
He's now thrown it away. My best cloak.
Can I have it back, please? My name is Hamar. Do you have a name? Anyone see me cloak? A distant voice from the Great Hall.
Yeah, my best one. It's a Sunday one. The
If
only
I
one.
find out who stole my cloak, I'll stab them.
It was that Victoria over there. I'll get
No,
another
that's
cloak.
not my cloak.
No. I didn't have a cloak on.
Is this your cloak?
No.
No.
Definitely not.
Definitely not.
But I'd like to give you money so you can keep that cloak that's not mine. He's good. Absolutely good at it. I'm the get off cat. I'm the best disguiser we've got in the Victoria. How did he spot me?
So you walked through the front door.
Oh, I have to work on that. If I go out again and come back in wearing a hat, maybe they won't notice it.
The 6 elite bodyguards rode out, specifically met you on the bridge and bowed before your master. And you stood in the middle of the bridge.
Yeah,
Yeah, we all know
standing
who you are.
there, shields, cloak.
How did you know?
Cloak.
I thought that's how disguises work.
Works for Superman. Should have put glasses on. Clink. Oh, who are you? Friend.
Kent is my name.
Who do you call me what? Ah. I am Hamar of the Endels. Do you have a name, Victoria? Did they give you?
They call me
Carly? Carly, it is. Come, friends.
Meet
Carly.
Oh God! One of those slip-ups in the game that I was going to try to stick, isn't it?
They call me. They call
Remember
me.
the famous Victoria Carly?
And he's fearsome warrior buddy, Janet.
He could pass through shadows and mix with everybody with ease.
I know why I
Carly the
stand.
ninja.
Oh,
I know
dear
why I
God.
stand out now. It's got nothing to do with me, with my cloak.
Oh, that's good.
Victoria are not known for their interactions.
Except for Carly, the friendly one.
blending in over there.
Just
Goodness
hung around and
gracious,
talk to
man.
rough
Oh,
men
yeah.
a lot. Oh dear
Okay,
God.
right, okay.
Right, back of the moment.
Hold this
Back of
out,
the
yeah,
moment.
yeah.
Come on, Carl.
Come, friends, meet Carly the Victorian.
Stop. Right. You're not allowed to say Carly.
One of the Thuringians bursts into laughter at the back. Apparently the name Carly might have a different meaning where it comes from.
Oh, right. Oh,
It isn't Carly, Hamo. Caradak.
Is this a Victoria joke?
No joke.
To call yourself Carly, but it's not.
I do not tell jokes. Hamo.
Oh. Right.
Caradak.
There's that moment of silence and people start edging away.
yeah, like, that's gonna
I'm always like, I'm alone in the world suddenly.
Yeah.
Sorry, Caradak. I misunderstood. I thought you'd said your name was Carly.
No. Caradak. Thank you for the drink.
My pleasure. And he turns and walks away.
yeah, making friends quick there.
Goes back to his group.
I'm just alone at the bar.
yeah.
The barman's stand there going,
like someone come and order a drink that isn't Carly.
even the berserkers will be welcome at this point.
It's doing wonders for trade. You want to go somewhere else? I don't know, like like the far north.
Unlike the rest of the guys that are standing here.
What's that? Ghost again.
Let's hope it's... no, if anyone, obviously. Let's
hope
hope it's
it's-
from below. Oh, it's hell.
What?
Right.
Yeah, we get really into this. Yeah. Anyways, as you were saying.
So you're standing there, unlike
So
the rest of
standing.
them, they're all warriors. Even the women have got a certain sort of wild look to them. They're all warrior women as well. You know, it's not it's not gender specific. This guy looks. He doesn't look like a warrior. You know, he's not wearing armor for a start. That's always a good sign. But there's something about him. You see that he looks like a tradesman, but you don't recognise the trade. But you are literally this close. You just sort of stand there at this makeshift area where there's obviously quite a thick, heavy-duty. Several planks have been put on trestles.
You there?
Yes,
What is it you do?
I serve ale to travellers from the boats generally, or if they've come in from land. Travellers, people, farmers, outlining people that come in to sell their wares and goods would like to stop off and have some food or drink. I provide that service.
Getting nervous now, sweat running down. He's like, I hope I answered him correctly.
You may be on your way.
But he stood behind the bar like, oh. Right, I'll
Leave. Really?
Another drink?
Sorry?
May I have another drink?
Of course, Victoria.
It's going to be an awkward night for Fred the barman, isn't it?
Do you wish me to leave?
No. Continue with your business.
Well, you stand there staring at him.
I'm going to head to the library. How to make friends. I just stand and watch for it, finish my drink. Once I finish, I'll pop it back
Don't take the other one.
and take the other one, finish that one. Thank you. I shall be on my way.
Everyone's going to be like,
Oh, thank God he's gone.
oh, God. He was mad.
Like the music picks up some silly.
Yeah.
Wait a second, we didn't even have music before you got here.
Or the doors that went...
Yeah, you walk along the dock front.
Yes.
It's not raised up. It's not a
Where's
built-up
the
area.
where was the who else?
The who else? the tents of partying.
The tents of
They're off
partying.
to the eastern side.
Oh,
That was the
right,
other
okay.
part of the town.
Because I'm assuming that if anyone's going to have insider knowledge, it's going to perhaps be because it'll be ladies.
I can't wait.
The
for
ladies.
I can't wait for the interaction because the bar interaction went so well. I'll wear this hat. They'll blend in. Clink.
You have little faith.
So
Carly.
are you thinking out loud?
Yes.
Okay. So you want along. If anyone's going to know anything, it'll
Come on,
be
this
the ladies.
is Caradak. Caradak does not do espionage.
Yeah, so he's talking loudly
So he's
about
talking
his
loudly
plans, and
about
he's
his
in our
plan.
thoughts.
Yeah, he says it as it is.
Yeah, and I wonder if poo sticks to rabbits' fur.
People in the dark like, oh God.
People shuffle away into the darkness like crabs.
If there's anyone who's going to talk, it's those girls.
We said no
Those
one in particular,
ladies.
except
This is
one guy.
fucking in the dark.
Except one guy in the dock, like, oh, talking to me.
yeah. Guy walked past goes, yes.
Who are you talking to?
You work your way through the darkened streets.
Yeah. No,
using-
this was an out of game moment because Erstat, remember Erstat was talking to a lady in his room.
Mhm.
Can only imagine that it was a lady friend from the, whatever they call it. Was it that place called?
Didn't have a name.
I didn't have a name. Well, the Tents of Pleasure, whatever they call it.
They do now.
Yeah.
They've never a
Tents
name.
of Pleasure.
Somewhere
From now on, that's what they call it.
Tents of pleasure. Well, that sounds good, yeah.
As an out-of-game thing as well, bear in mind that there is no industry in women selling themselves.
Right, okay.
The powerful take the weak.
Right.
Slaves are there for
So
a
I'm
reason.
assuming, okay, so if I understand the slave thing, so I'm assuming that this...
So taking a woman without her permission, if she's not a slave,
Yeah.
is a punishable, is a crime that is
Right.
punishable by death.
Right.
Yeah, simple as that. Okay. So, but there is no trade.
Okay.
So it's either you get a slave, or you work on your charm.
So I don't know where the slave girls are.
There's none in the Reikdorf. You did away with slaves.
Oh.
He's the grandfather did that.
Okay. Well, I head to that direction since I've already spoiled the party in the docks.
Well, either way, there was something specific
Yeah.
here during the day,
Yeah,
and you've kind of ruined everyone's mood.
Yeah.
At the docks, who went, I'm going home. I think I just nearly died. There's a guy like,
That's
there
a
was
barman.
The barman's like, it's got to be another job I could
I need
do.
to close up, guys.
I thought this was a great business plan. I don't even know what that word means, but I thought it was going to make us lots of money.
I'm going back to being in the plague pit business. It's got benefits.
What did you do before that? I used to chop wood in the middle of the night in the great forest. You know, the other places that really smell bad. Yeah, it was less stressful than this. Didn't have to worry about the Victoria turning up and stealing your drink off you. Wearing another man's cloak. You work your way through the town. You get to this place. So, ultimately, this is several buildings, single story, have been joined by outer walls. The walls are made up of tied, condensed, densely upright timbers and that sort of thing. And it has made it's not a wall that goes around it, it's not in an encampment, but what you've got is where there would be an alleyway, it's been blocked off. Yeah, and there's one doorway. It's about a door and a half in the sense of width. It's arched. It's got two timber doors within it. They're open, and inside is a courtyard. You can see from the courtyard that it is stone, lots of tables. It's the usual. It looks like a place that would have normally been a market. Even now, you can still see that there are plants, hanging plants, have been put in there, and an effort has been made to make it look a little bit more pleasant. There is a very large man in rough-looking, different one. He's definitely Thuringian.
So it's another Thuringian.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. You can see from the tattoo markings on him and his clothing, the heavy, very badly stitched together scars as well. They're not known for calming enough to stitch them neatly. You know, he's a horrible looking mess. Part of his face is chewed off, an eye is blinded. Most of his hair is missing from a huge scalp wound. You obviously approach.
Yeah, approach.
Yeah. He looks at you, lips curled,
Greetings, Thuringian.
looks you up and down, bit confused. Huh? What are you?
What am I? Isn't it obvious?
I'm Carly.
Am I in disguise?
What?
I'm not wearing a cloak, right?
Okay.
You can't. You can't tell what I am.
You're an irritant?
Yeah.
You didn't say that, that's far too nice.
Yeah.
Whoa! Someone's been studying.
You're an irritant upon my ears. What? I was unexpected.
You're not Thuringian.
They don't berserk like we expect.
Just go to buy.
Right, that's it. I'm off to write a really stern letter.
Yeah, buy some, write some really horrible haiku about you.
So going back, you can't tell what I am.
You've just walked up to a dome and said, "Do you not know who I am?" Oh God!
So you can't tell who I am.
I did that on purpose.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. You can't tell what I am.
Hey, do you not know who I am?
Do you know who I am?
You're a whiny noise. Are you passing by? You're going in.
I would like to enter, please.
So what you stand talking to me for?
You're right. It was clearly a waste of time.
Bloody foreigners.
Nice to meet you too.
No, it wasn't.
It was for me. As I walk in. Was for me.
It's picking fights with
Do you know
Thuringians.
what I am? What? That's what I said. You walk down. So you go through. So the door's curved.
My head back
arched. But inside it's actually a square. So you walk through the doorway. It's quite deep, deeper than you expect. It's been reinforced and rebuilt to give it a longer, deeper corridor. You come into a main court. Men, women, tankards of ale. It's a lot more riskier. You can see that a lot of the women are in less clothing than you would expect. And there is a definite sexual charge in the air.
Okay.
Lots of rooms, doorways, and move off in different directions. And women are coming backwards and forwards with trays and giving out ales, etc. But you can see there's warrior women in here as well as men. And people are just sitting, lounging, and it's even more relaxed than it was at the bar. Not that is a word that you would think of either. At the other place down at the dock, woman breaks away from the crowd and walks over. Voice sultry, her hips swaying. Can I help you relax, warrior? There are many here.
I'm already relaxed.
Can I get you a drink then?
You may.
She wanders off for a second, still within sight, comes back with a wooden cup.
Thank you.
So, were you up at the feast?
Yes.
What was it like? I hear that they've got all kinds there tonight.
Who's in charge here?
Why? Have I displeased you?
No, it's a question.
I don't know. Arvid is. Arvid. She spells it out. Apparently, it's a habit that's
It's a habit.
A-R-V-I-D.
Alpha Romeo Victor. Just looks down at the paper. No, it's got 2 Ds. Oh, right, sorry. 2 Ds. Sorry.
Do you want us to call him over?
Yes.
You see a man about shoulder height to yourself. His skin is very dark. Never seen the likes of before. He's wearing loose-fitting clothing. Again, likes and design you've never seen before. Gold torque around his neck, but it's instead of being a solid bar, it's actually a loose chain. You see that there's just, apart from the fact that his skin colour is, he must be a demon. But everything about him just seems to, you've never seen anyone like him at all. He steps forward with an air of confidence. You see that there's a curved blade and a thick belt at his waist. I hear my name, and yet I have not been invited to sit at your company. Who are you, warrior?
I am Caradak.
And you are welcome, Caradak, to my home.
This is your home.
Of course. What else would it be? Sit. He points at a chair. Unlike any other chair that you've seen, these ones are padded. Red material with gold trim. You sit at it. You feel strange as you don't feel, your bum doesn't hit the solid timber of normal seating. It's actually quite, oh, that's a bit weird. He sits beside you. You are new here.
I am.
Did you come in today with...
75.
I was...
It's a bubble burst.
I was going to say the Bretoni. And the business is over.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I came in with the death dealers. Just the sound of the squeak of everyone's bum tightening, like.
Oh, crap.
Yeah, that's what's going on now. Silence is like.
Yeah. He doesn't seem to be that scared.
It wasn't
There is.
Yeah, I wasn't.
No,
I'm
it
not
doesn't matter.
trying it. Yeah,
No,
I'm not
no,
trying
you
it.
are.
What's that?
You might not be trying, but you just said that.
Oh no, I did say that, but I'm not trying to instill fear or anything. It's just,
No,
You just are.
You just walked into a bar and went, I'm KGB, or during World War II.
Yeah.
World War II, just went in there and went, I'm secret police. I'm SS.
Yeah, yeah. Oh. And everyone just dialed down party mode down to.
Yeah. Everyone's trying to leave.
Yeah.
oh, it wasn't. I didn't shout it. I just,
You didn't have to.
Yeah, it just goes.
There's a few people beside you, like, and you go, yeah, I came in the center thing. There's not even like a turn around, you say, oh, and
Goodness.
2 or 3 people right beside you, like, whoa. But
Goodness.
he doesn't react. He's nice and relaxed. Ah, yes, I've heard of them. Priests. I have similar in my homeland.
Oh, where are you from?
Far, far to the south.
I've not seen your legs here before, or anywhere.
We don't generally travel this far north. It is very cold. The hospitality is not well known to be comfortable, but the king sent some emissaries far south and welcomed trade.
What is your relationship with King Bjorn?
I have no relationship with King Bjorn.
No, I mean, how do you see? Do you see him as a kind king, a noble king?
Compared to where I come from, he is courageous, kind, welcoming. I don't necessarily agree with the lack of slave trade. I think it is the lifeblood of any great kingdom, but he is his own man. It makes my life a little bit more difficult.
How is business?
Booming. I found a corner. Nobody else has anything like this. You are, as a people, somewhat held back, I think, possibly by your priests.
Held back?
Yes. There is so much money to be made, so much enjoyment in the world to be had. You're also very serious. It's probably the cold. We don't have to wear anywhere near as much clothing. But then again, it also masks your smell. You should try bathing more.
I do bathe.
Good for you.
It's gone in a different direction. This question, like, who's in control here?
Stop.
Wait a minute, I do bathe once a year, whether I need to or not.
some, perhaps you can help.
Everything is available here in my home, as long as it was in my power to give.
Disinformation if you have it.
Disinformation.
I
I want you to lie to me, right?
See if I can spot the difference.
information.
Oh, it's your accent, sorry.
It is nighttime. No, it's not. It's daytime.
2 bits.
Oh gosh, man. I forgot where I was now. I've completely lost the chain of thought. What did I say?
You wanted
You want some information?
information.
You want to be lied to?
No. I would like information if you have it.
On what?
Perhaps one of your girls
You want information on one of my girls?
is working closely with somebody.
You're not helping if you're being this cagey. What do you want?
Okay, look.
I know what you're trying to ask. I'm thinking, I can't actually work out what you're. I want to know about a girl who may be working with someone. Has she got an eye? Yes. The girl with the eye.
Betty.
Carly.
My friend
Yes.
that I accompanied.
The priest.
The priest. He is friends with King Bjorn.
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing I want is for King Bjorn to come under undue threat. I noticed there was a secret way in and out because I'm observing like this. Should I add that?
Did you just second guess yourself in front of him?
Yeah.
Did you just? I shouldn't have added that. Did you just do that? You did, didn't you?
He's just this madman who's coming.
The Victorian nutters.
No wonder they're feared. Oh my God! Make the Thuringian look like them. Well,
I shouldn't have said that.
Understand that.
What? You shouldn't have said that you knew of a secret. How do you know that I know there's a secret? Fuck.
Okay, look.
get him! Stop him!
There's no deal with a lunatic. Right, yeah. Don't worry about it. We're all in this. But
No, okay, I've noticed there's a secret way in and out of the hole. The great hole. I know there's been a girl coming in and out, and you know she's yours. I would hate the king to find out.
What would you hate the king to find out?
If it was one of your girls,
And if it wasn't one of my girls,
let's take care of it right now.
what?
If it is your girls,
Describe her.
I can't. Okay. How's it? Erstat. Erstat?
The senator.
Is he over friendly with in one particular girl? Does he pay?
Oh yes, of course. Yeah, he participates. Oh, right. Oh, well, I didn't know there was a secret entrance.
But now everyone does now, so that's good.
People are thinking. Right. Does he have a particular preference? Well, I can't possibly. Well, I wouldn't want to lie to a friend of the Semithy. He hasn't got a preference for any particular one girl. He just has a preference for girls.
There's one in particular. I overheard a conversation.
And you know that is particular? What was the conversation?
He clearly has feelings for her.
Did he say?
I didn't catch.
You don't know what he said.
I didn't catch exactly. I don't know names. I don't know what she looks like. I'm hoping that you can help in that. Perhaps there's a girl here that he visits often.
No.
How many girls does he visit?
He doesn't have a particular preference.
He does?
No.
He doesn't.
No. I have, in normal, I have 10 girls here, and I believe that he has visited with all of them at any given time. I don't know if any of them have that particular friendly relationship with the Vaktora. Nah, with the Semithy, with the Zakonik. But of course I will look into it for you. But nothing is free.
What would you like?
Well, a man of your obvious reputation would be that perhaps if there's anything of interest that is said, that could be of, anything that is of interest to me. To do with trade, or to do with the other tribes, or perhaps if somebody is unhappy with our practices here, the Zakonik himself. Anything of interest, information, and is its own reward.
Just tell me what you want.
Well, I don't know yet.
You tell me. Think on it.
Like you thought about the description of this girl you want me to look into that said nothing of interest. I thought we were being vague.
No.
Or you're legit. You literally have no idea.
I'm not
what
deliberately being vague.
I
have no idea what she looks like. I know there's a girl involved. I'm assuming, since he's often, if he's a visitor, yeah?
Yes. Well, the Zakonik is my most interesting and worrisome guest. So anything to do with the Zakonik that would potentially give me a advantage over him, then that would be nice.
Well, this would clearly give you advantage over him. Find the girl.
I send girls all the time. Well, he normally comes here. Actually, that's a lie. I've never sent a girl to him. That would be insane.
Well, there's a girl visiting.
I shall look into it then. And if it is one of mine, then I will. I'll get to the bottom of the visits.
How long do you need?
Tomorrow night, at the same time.
Yes. No one needs to know about the secret entrance.
Okay. I agree. I think it would not be beneficial to anyone to find out that there was a way in and out past the guards into the king's own private area.
No, to the Zakonik's room.
Which is adjacent to the king's throne room.
Yeah, that'll be taken care of.
Oh. And your name?
Caradak.
Caradak. I am Arvid.
I know.
But we haven't been formally introduced.
Nice to meet
Will you be staying with us now?
Yes.
The girl that originally met you. Then, as a gift to our new friendship.
I appreciate your gift.
He then walks off, unless you stop him.
No word to anyone. This does not leave your lips.
I think I've been doing this longer than you, my friend. Don't worry about me. Look to yourself.
Stab him.
Yeah. The girl takes you into an alcove, pulls the tent back. The floor is filled with pillars and soft decorations. There's some incense burning in the wall. It's a nice perfume smell. Her clothing is somewhat see-through. Her body and curves are in all the right places. She is easily one of the most exotic and attractive women you've ever seen, which is strange because you didn't think of that when you first met her. But you feel relaxed and calm as she lies you down, starts unbuckling your chest plate, and we fade to a fireplace. Are you spending the evening there, or just long enough to relax a bit? Or are you like going back in the morning? Bear in mind you haven't actually got anywhere to...
No, I've got nowhere to stay, so I'll
stay the night, go in there, go back in the morning, yeah?
Yeah.
The night goes on.
You're not there, so shut up, son.
I'm just thinking of all.
You're having a
Do
chat with
this,
King
do
Bjorn.
that, do the other. Come back. What did you do? How does that help me at all?
It does, man.
You look very relaxed, but it's not helping me.
As the night progresses, you note that you can't see Caradak anywhere.
He must be really working the crowd like I asked him to. Maybe he's in the chest like I asked him to. This is words will be have to have like when he comes. No, I'll say that for the next one. But it's like must be something. Maybe a hearing issue.
It'll turn out.
I must have a look with a hammer.
Slowly, the tribesmen of the other, they start to leave. Several stay, but in time, the place starts to empty out, and it is just down to standard attrition of heavy drinking and feeding, and the need for privacy in a lot of cases for men known to the violent life that they do, and the women, because they're equally. Warrior women are as equal to the men. There's just more warrior men. King Bjorn. At this point, thank you very much for your company, Ulmakor. His voice is still lowered. Otherwise, he would have said Seventhai, or maybe he's just a little bit sort of more relaxed in the drink. I'm going to retire.
Yes. Well, it's getting to that late stage of the evening. I've got no idea how late it is, but it's been going on a while.
Yep.
I'm looking around. I've got no sign of Caradak. He's obviously following my orders explicitly and working the crowd and getting information. Okay, and I'm like, right, okay. There's been no sign of Erstat since he went into his room.
No, he didn't seem to leave.
Everything seems calm. It's the end of the evening.
Yep. The servant girl approaches you. You know where the guest chambers are in the Great Hall anyway, but it's just a standard, for guests.
Yeah.
Would you like me to prepare your room?
That would be great. Yes. Yeah. That's it's been one of those evenings. I'll just let me know when it's ready, and I'll.
She walks off to the other side of where the king goes.
Yeah.
You know that the standard thing at this point in time will literally just be to put hot rocks in the bed and warm the place up and chase off any rats.
Yep.
Unless you specifically ask for a bath or something like that, you're just going to go into a warm room. There'll be a low fire burning and stones transferred to the sheets. You sit, I take it, just at the honourable chair? Honourable chair?
Yeah, I'll just wait until I'm just basically surveying the, like just having a look around, waiting for her to come back and say it's all good to go. And constantly going, if Caradak's here, wonder where,
She comes back after about 20 minutes. By then the hall is absolutely emptied and you're sitting by yourself with a horn.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Your room is ready.
Thank you, and I will head towards my room. I know where it is.
The fire's been banked up, not in a dangerous way. It's not blasting a massive amount of heat. The air doesn't need that yet. And the stones have been removed and put back on the grill near the fire. The bed sheets are warm.
Right. Okay.
The bed is heavily packed. It is incredibly comfortable, very thickly mattressed bed.
Totally not what I'm used to.
Not the slightest.
Right. That's going to be awkward. I'm going to be sleeping on the floor tonight.
Some blankets, or wrap yourself up in a cloak.
Put a stone under my back. Yes, that's good. Right. Well, what I'm going to do before sleep takes me is I'm going to commune. I'm going to basically get in a meditative situation, and I'm going to call out to Tal. And I'm going to call out to Tal and basically ask Tal about the Hag Mother.
Any time that you believe to have had a true vision, it is normally you do this. You would call out, as you say, but then you'd go to sleep when he comes in.
Yeah. I'm saying that's.
Yeah, he doesn't answer you.
I'm not like having a conversation. Like pick up on the phone, tell you there. Yeah. No, it's more like.
You won't expect it to come.
Preparing the ritual, and then, but the nature of what I'll seek guidance on is the Hag Mother. That's what I'm going to be asking for, and then I'm going to get and take the hot rocks out so I don't burn myself. Get in my ridiculously comfy bed, sink down to me knees are high, and me like, oh, this is uncomfortable, and then basically hopefully let sleep take me, and then hopefully what I'm looking for is visions, and I want to know about the. I'm going to see if you can give me any guidance on the Hag Mother. I also am aware that this is not I'm not dialing into an absolute, on your through to tell. What would you like to know on switchboard? But it's more like if I can get any insight on the Hag Mother, that's what I'm trying to do for tonight. Before I get all the information from my faithful servant tomorrow.
You right. You find yourself in a place that you recognise, but you know you don't have a conscious memory of it.
Seems familiar.
Beyond that, there's that sort of sense of, I've seen something similar to this, or there is a familiarity. This is almost like standing in your lounge, but having no memory of ever being in it. But this is my lounge. Really is like, I know this place. It's beyond familiar to me.
Yeah.
It's deep jungle. There is a thick mist, a clinging mist. It rises up from the bog, from the rotting, floated water, thick with midges, large creatures. You waft and batter them to one side. There's a coldness in the air, and it's not just from the fact that you're thigh deep in this swamp water. You see a cabin. It's raised up from the swamp by thick, heavy timber struts. The windows are like eyes in a skull, they're darkened and black. There's a lack of life coming from it. Weeds cling to the underneath of the raised cabin. From the front of it, where plants were once hanging, shrubs and herbs, things of life have now withered and rotted away. Something moves in the undergrowth around you. You know that there's solid areas around you. You move towards one and find yourself on a walkway where you knew there was a walkway to be. You know you've never been here before. There is that sound of something rustling and moving through wet foliage. To the side, there's a shaft of moonlight, and you see standing in the shaft of moonlight Buso. He's covered in swamp water and dirt. His great axe is caked in dry blood. From his eyes, as you stare up and you see that the eyes are just darkness, black portals. There's no movement there. There's just a lack of anything within. But you see him casting around, looking into the darkness around him. You hear chittering, the sound of body on foliage, of that slithering sound. There's a smell of crisped meat, no longer cooked. It's beyond burning. It's turned to the smell of bodies on fire. They've gone too long, and you wake up, your knees inflamed, literally, as you've been kneeling on concrete. No, you haven't. Been kneeling on stone. You feel the heat from the fire that you were kneeling in front of. You look around as you lean back, aches and pains in your body. You've just been held in that position for such a long time. The bed is still behind you. You never got up. You beseeched Ulrich for signs you've never experienced before. Is you had a vision while kneeling before the fire. You didn't have to go to bed. You didn't have a dream, and you visualized. And the one thing is, you sit back and ache, and you've got that sort of sense of, Tal has reached out to me. But that feeling, the vision is clear. It doesn't recede. It is very clearly. It's almost like a memory. You remember this clearly of what's just happened. The smell, the feel, the bite of the midgie, the sound of its buzzing wings, and the darkness that seemed to be inside Buso's eyes.
Right. Well, obviously that's going to take a lot to digest. As in, that's not a normal vision sequence that I would have, or insight.
The fire's burned very low. I'm
going to give my knees a rub and try and get some feeling back into it, because I can't imagine. Yeah. So I've been in that knelt position
for some time. The stones have gone cold and the fire's burnt low, and your body is cramped in the kneeling on bare stone, and as the cold is sort of leached up into you.
Right. Okay.
It's a natural ache.
Yeah.
You've been in this sort of position, unmoving. Your muscles are cramped.
Okay, I'm going to try and decramp myself in that case. Like,
sort of lean on,
on
your side.
Oh. trying to get some
fire up again.
Yeah, try and get some heat back into the knees, and try and just. Am I tired? Exhausted? What's my situation?
Your mind is a flame. It's active.
Right. Yeah.
It pushes away the tiredness, but you're aching. But as you get close to the fire, as you bank it up, you're literally shivering.
Right.
You feel cold in the bones.
Right. Okay.
You've never felt such a cold before. But it became more apparent the warmer that the room became.
Right. That I've chilled like I've been in a swamp
Yeah.
for several hours.
Yes.
Actually, in a swamp for several hours. Right. Okay. Right. I'm gonna turn in for the night because I got to think about this. And can I quiet the mind, or am I just like, if I can't quiet the mind, can I? Okay. Can I quiet my mind, or am I just? I can. Right. So I'm not just like, well, I'm awake now. It's 2 a.m.
You can choose to quiet your mind and get some sleep, or you can sit there and go through it all and that sort of thing, or you, as I say, you can literally go no and put yourself into a meditative trance. And not like full on home.
But I can quiet myself down.
Go. I need to sleep. I'm going to work this out tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I'm going to do that. If I can get myself to sleep, I'm going to try and think about this and let my subconscious work on it while I'm asleep.
Right. Okay. You wake with a start. The bed sheets are tangled around your feet. You are sweating profusely.
I left the fire on, did I?
You literally have a scream in your throat of fear.
Oh.
That roar out, ah! As you wake up in the bed, your eyes are, are flashing left and right. You can see that the sunlight is breaking in through the shutters into your room itself. Right. You are aware that it is now obviously morning, as your heart's pumping away, and the reason being is that the memory of your nightmare, and you saw that part of the twin-tailed comet that is currently going over the area. You can see part of it has broken away and slammed into the ground. It disappeared over the horizon, but it basically into the mountain range to the southeast of you. Another piece landed heavily in the shorter part of the tail, landed in the centre of Reikdorf. But as it landed, you realise Reikdorf was it wasn't as large as it is today. It was Reikdorf as it was 5 years ago.
When I remember it.
Yeah. From what you remember of it, not 5 years ago, but you just you don't know what Reikdorf looked like beforehand. Mm-hmm. You realise that the shorter part of the tail landed in Reikdorf a long time ago. Mm-hmm. But the longer tail has landed, or is landing, is coming to land. You know it was something that was coming, and it landed to the mountain ranges to the southeast. Sorry, but that's not what that caused you to scream out in your sleep. You were standing watching this, as the comet breaks up and slams into the ground. What got you was to see a green, thick light of Morslieb coming from the north, and with it came darkness, the likes of which you've never experienced. And you saw the lights of man, like tribes, each one a candle, snuffed out from the north. But what made it worse was they were being attacked from the south by a green-skinned horde of a size that's never been faced. You saw the tribes of man destroyed from north and south, but they stopped at the Senethai enclave, and standing at the top of the hill was a tall humanoid figure in purple and black spiked armour, and you looked upon the face of Ingvar, and you were kneeling before him as he ordered your death.
Yeah, I imagine why that would have woke me up with not today. Right.
Wow.
And we stop there.
Cool. Cue the dum-dum-dums.
I know.
Okay. Let me just write that down so I don't forget.
Well, that's today's session, this week's session, over with. We've seen some interesting developments come from today. We've seen Caradak starting to find his own way in the world. He's been given something that the Vakhtari have in the past, I think, which is a little bit of freedom of choice, really.
Yeah. That's why you do it.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you give them choice.
Well,
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's what I'm trying to put, hopefully.
Portray?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a word.
Yeah, this is not. This
A
is
guy who clearly isn't good at like the classic espionage stuff, because I'm trying to go, oh, well, I noticed that, there were voices coming from my master's asked me to investigate something, so I'm going to investigate. I'm going to please him because I messed up with the chest thing. So I'm going to have to sort of go far and beyond this time and get some dirt on Erstat. So
Remember, Talbot, it's not you, it's Caradak.
yeah, no.
You're not doing anything. You're here with the ride like the rest of us going, what's Caradak up to?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's why Caradak's doing that.
Yeah. Do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think that's why he's doing it?
Why else is he doing it?
Well, we don't know.
We don't know.
It's insane, isn't it?
It's amazing how someone who must have such innate cunning to be such an exemplary warrior, like doesn't need to be taught. It's just there, the cunning there, and then you put him in a town and he's like, don't know what I'm doing. Would you like a beer?
Yeah, but he's a warrior.
Well, that's it. Endel, who is also a warrior, is like, there's a chance to talk to a Vakhtari here. Right, I'm off. He's insane.
Yeah, this guy's a nut job. Right.
Well, Caradak effectively went, go away.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing that Caradak doesn't get a chance to commune with people from other.
Must be a fun night in with the with.
Yeah, I mean, I'm different at home with my own Vakhtari.
Yeah.
But communing with different cultures and stuff is new. And
Very.
I'm trying to get that across. That it's not going to work. Caradak's going to be awkward.
Why can't I just
not deliberately.
Why can't I just stab him?
Know.
I'm just used to
He
stab.
doesn't know how to socialise. And that's the awkwardness. And like, I'm trying to hopefully
Would you
clear
like-
out that he doesn't know how to socialise.
Would you like a drink? I could stab you. Okay.
Meanwhile, I'm trying to appease Ulmakor.
Yeah.
To say, oh, okay, Caradak's messed up this time, so I need to do something, go far and beyond this time, and yeah, I did. That was
I just
Just told the Johnny Foreigner here.
yeah, like, hey everyone, do you know about the secret entrance into the? I don't, but we do now.
Let me write that down. Could you give me the
Just
exact
a second.
location? Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
It's in his room.
I'm looking for a girl. Good. We can handle that. And she knows someone. Right. Do you know who I'm talking about? No, you'll have to give me a bit more than that. I could kill you if you don't tell me.
I thought we were being vague. I'm not being vague. You're really hard to talk to.
Yeah, that was it.
But
You've
that's Caradak's way, isn't it?
Yeah.
As it's been pointed out, there's a number of things here that from now on he should be announced as iCarly, which I think is a Disney Channel. There was an expected pub fight, and the mission apparently is definitely doomed. This isn't espionage; it's social interaction. So we've had several comments come through there.
Yeah. I can't wait as well when I say, how did the information, right, he didn't look in the chest, okay, but he's told me, all right, we can work with that, but go and find out how it's set with the guys in the room. Find out the guys in the room. You went where?
Straight to Alma.
Note to self.
I think Caradak's fantastic.
I
like I
feel
say,
like I have to play. I can't play a traditional Vakhtari because
No,
the whole point is that
he's not a traditional
He's not a
Vakhtari.
traditional Vakhtari. So how am I going to make Caradak stand out? So I've got to portray him in a way where he's placed in these awkward situations and he's trying to play these out. So,
see, it's strange you're saying that you can't play him, as a normal Vakhtari, but I think you are. Because I think that's how the Vakhtari would react. The frontline warriors, they're told what to do, A to B, there's no thought, what do you think, or work on your own premise. And the fact that Caradak is having such difficulty in dealing with this situation
not got the
is
skills.
typical
he doesn't have
Vakhtari.
skill- yeah, it's typical. Yeah. I mean, sorry, I don't mean typical in saying I'm assuming all Vakhtari it will be typical, very typical of them to do this. What I'm saying, what isn't typical is that
Me to give you the free rein to do it.
yes, that is new.
After a lifetime of fist
where they probably
slavery.
wouldn't have ever experienced anything like this, and I'm having to
Vakhtari
go.
would've.
Yeah, I'm going out here trying to socialize with all these different people from different tribes and different warriors, and they try and like that classic example, the Hamar. He's like, "Yep, this is awkward." I'm telling the barman to leave.
Bob's like,
You may go now.
I've got nowhere to go.
Right then.
I travel for 6 seasons
I
to get
quit.
here.
Leave. Get a drink. Right? Do you want me to leave? No. I don't know what to do.
These people have got a history of killing things. Is this how they do it?
Yeah. And then, of course, that's the other thing as well, when you consider the other tribe warriors. On one hand, will long to want to, like anybody, of this ilk would like to
Size
challenge
up,
themselves.
yeah, like-
But they can't, because there's no doubt in their mind that to attack and assault a Vakhtari, even if somehow successful, the repercussions are going to be very dire.
If you
because the Seventh will just go whoop and steamroll over the top.
You've managed to best the Vakhtari, which is not, the odds aren't good anyways.
Yeah.
And if you do, the odds aren't good that you're going to survive anyways to live to talk about it for very long before you're made an example of, because we can't have the Semnothai. You're not, when you're attacking Vakhtari, you're attacking the Semnothai.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, you're attacking the strength of the Semnothai directly. Yeah. The Semnothai are going to come along and take you, your family, your tribe. No, that cannot. No.
Anyone in the pub and anyone who may have even seen the pub. Not that they know what a pub is, but they're going to destroy that as well. Yeah. All pubs will be banned because of Talbot. You were the reason why.
Pubs didn't work out.
Pubs didn't work out.
You've got the Thuringians who have more than on one occasion have went, and the Vakhtari and the Semnothai are like, an all-out war against the Thuringians going to cost everybody because they're mad. So they are the ones, and of course that's the one that you're going.
Who are you?
At the door.
Do you not know who I am?
Do you not know who I am?
I don't care. But his brains are like, is he brute?
Is he trying to get us a fight?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I'm confused. Yeah, is he trying to like? Yeah.
Normally, I'm standing here because it's like this is just where I stand. But normally, it's to sort of keep an eye on groups and make them understand going in here, I'm here, and I'm going to have at you maybe. But mainly, it's like if they get a bit rowdy inside, I'll go in and sort it out. I've never had a single guy walk up to me on the door, hasn't had a drink, hasn't got messed up inside. He's going, "Come on then." Do you know I didn't even stop you getting in. What? You have literally walked down the street to pick a fight with a big guy on the door?
Don't know. I think it's because of previous, when we were here last time, having the through when we were glared at by the Thuringian.
So you hold a grudge?
Yeah, I hold a grudge.
Against the entire tribe.
So all Thuringians
I was
must
kind of
die.
hoping he'd be there so we could have a chat with him. But,
Well, so you actually didn't go there for a fight?
Yeah.
You felt like punching something?
Yes.
That's how frustrating. That's the thing. Is you keep Vakhtari in civilization for too long, give him free will, he becomes frustrated and punches a Thuringian.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to get back to what I know. Start a fight with a Thuringian. They're bound to give me a fight. You didn't even give me a fight. What's wrong with the world?
God damn it! What is this place?
Can't even get a fight from a Thuringian.
To be fair, I don't know where this is going with the pleasure dome, whatever it's called.
The pleasure dome.
We all know. That's why it cut to a fireplace.
Pleasure of tent. Yeah.
We know exactly what is happening.
I'm talking about details here. Do you know what I mean?
We can't.
Yeah.
Even though I said that we're an adult channel.
Let's not go there.
No.
I don't even want to know.
Orbit, sorry, the whole Orbit thing, that was completely like...
Wait a minute, right, Steph.
Not...
Talbot's inner thoughts about... No, I don't want to know about that.
No, the Orbit thing was completely... No, I did not... I don't know how that...
You definitely winged that.
I did totally...
Caradak
had to wing that, because once Caradak started opening his mouth, and this is the beauty of the story, because once you're in the moment, and then you start saying things, and I'll be like, I shouldn't be saying this. I really shouldn't be saying this, but now it's too far. I've gone and said it now.
Out loud as you're walking down this, just monologuing to yourself.
I've gone and said it now.
Scaring people in the shadows.
Oh, God. It's one of those. It's one of the...
Oh, yeah. So
it's a Vakhtari, they talk out loud.
So
you can't hear what they say, they stab you.
Well, so do we think Orbit is? Just introduced a guy from somewhere.
A local pimp.
He's definitely local.
Well, he's not local.
Well, not so local pimp.
Yeah. I mean, this is an interesting story.
The interesting thing is obviously I don't know this yet because I haven't spoken to you, but in terms of high level stuff, Bjorn's ability to look at this engendering trade, it's come from the far south. Yeah. I don't even know that we know where the far south is or what is in the far south, but they're coming here, which is. Do the Semnothai know this? I mean, we may control the tribes of man, but apparently we don't, because who's this guy?
Yeah.
And what tribe is this one? And again, it's more about Semnothai losing control or potentially losing control.
That's what Ingvar was worried of, wasn't he? He was like, his diplomatic prowess. He was worried. He was concerned now.
And we're seeing evidence of that.
Bjorn, and we see clear evidence of that.
And that is key, obviously at this point in time. We're aware Ulmakor has not seen this fella, this Arvid. How will he sort of react to this? Because the skin tone in itself is the one. It is unique. You've never come across somebody with the sort of skin tone and the dress sense, his voice accent, everything about him, his mannerisms. Was completely and totally alien to yourself, you know. And you are a bit troubled, but even though the tribes have got their own traditions and their own beliefs, you know, from the Thuringians believing that they are the sons of Tal, the Thuringians believing that they're the sorry, not the sons of sorry, I got that wrong. Apologies for anyone that picked up on that moment. I did at one point say the Thuringians believed that they were the children of Tal. They're not. No, I did.
They are.
I said that they
Ulrich.
were children of Ulrich.
Yeah, you did.
They're the children of Tal. I know that. Or are they? We'll find out, won't we? This is the prehistory.
Does somebody know?
Yeah.
Because it's the Thuringians,
Tal,
the Tulutans, or the Ulrican
If
children.
you know,
If you're watching Tal,
or,
you know,
or
give us-
anyone
give
who
us a
is
shout.
anyone who's watching
Put
this
it right,
or on
yeah.
the recording, if you could let
the
Cain,
narrator know.
if you could let Cain know
Yeah.
which tribe they actually do are
Yes,
sons
who got
of.
the Fauschlag in the north? Right, there we go. Yeah, ultimately it'll be interesting because obviously we've got a separation here in the sense of you've gone on and discovered and seen things. You've met Ovid. Ovid's something special, obviously. There's no way that he could be introduced in such a way in a situation like this. And you've talked to him. Is he friend, foe, and what does he mean? What is he? And of course, the Seventhai might have a certain look or belief on the system, but you're dealing with close to home. And you've got the king. You know, he's dealing with losing. You know, obviously, Alvar's a friend, an uncle-like character. You know that to be true. But that's the other thing, is of course, is you're actually seeing how people react to a sacrifice. That's not all fear. It's not always going to be a bad thing. And as Caradak was alluded to, what happens if it's a lie? You know, and we found Alvar going, doesn't matter as long as the king and queen believe it.
Yeah.
Which is strange enough because, I mean, you have Caradak going, he's questioning the Seventhai? What's going on? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that, I mean, obviously that was out of your ears, out of Ulmakor's ears. And so,
So that's the thing, is Caradak actually heard
that's what I'm
heard a conversation that he's never been
That's what
alluded to. He's never.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to.
You heard that the Seventhai actually went, oh yeah, we've made it up effectively.
Yeah, that's what I heard because I was standing outside the room and
Yeah.
I heard that conversation, and then for whatever reason I felt the need to talk to Alvar because when on session 1, when we first had the meeting with Alvar, we reached out and we had this connection with, I don't know what it is. Well, Caradak doesn't exactly know what this connection is, but he feels.
We talked to you for a start.
Yeah, well, yeah, there is that. Yeah, because not many people do that.
Yeah. Except Thuringians.
And Thuringians, yeah.
They don't really talk to you.
No, they don't.
What a fight.
It's a conversation, I suppose.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's an interesting one because he was like, "Oh, do you trust Ulmakor?" I'm like, "What should I say here?" No, not really.
Well, that was a travel agent moment.
Yeah,
there,
it was almost. I had that chance to say, "What shall I say?"
Yeah, because the audience obviously is aware that Ulmakor, Alvar, and Bjorn have a history. They're friends.
Yeah.
The personal bodyguard esque Caradak suddenly starts questioning the Seventhai to a friend of Ulmakor. But then at one point, obviously, Caradak went, "But what happens if Ulmakor's lying?"
Yeah.
So you don't trust Ulmakor?
Yeah.
You're his friend.
Yeah. Yeah, I did have that moment because of.
Didn't stop you.
No.
I know
No.
it didn't.
No, you ploughed straight in.
I went straight for it. Yeah. But yeah, that's the sort of. I don't know. Is it because Caradak has no ability to.
In a monologue.
In a monologue, yeah. So that could be it.
He says everything that's on his mind, which is great when he's in a shield wall. To the left, stab it, kill it. But when it's out in less stabby moments.
I think the Seventhai are all liars and making it all up, and they're not really in touch with the gods.
Did I say that out loud?
Yeah.
Always. And this is why I'm out on a cross.
He says it loudly at people across the room.
What's supping, Bo? I didn't realise you were standing there.
Why? This is why I'm pegged out over this fire ant nest covered in honey. Oh, okay.
Again.
Okay.
But yeah, and of course, the big cliffhanger there. You know, we've just had...
But then, to be honest, Caradak doesn't know what... I mentioned this in my first vlog, that I don't know what Ulmakor's intentions are, really. Yes, you know, we've got history, but I don't know where your allegiances lie. So
The funny thing about Caradak is, though, is on one side of things, obviously, internally, he can question what's going on, but he's lived a life of follow, and they are beyond your understanding because they commune with the gods. Of course, that's kind of faith-shaking when you hear them
Well, that's
discussing,
that's what
discussing
changed
their
it.
personal.
I mean, that was a big change in that
what am I
scene.
hearing?
What am I hearing?
What is
Because
Caradak hearing?
I'm used to following strict orders. Semnathai are literally, they are the voice of the gods. And what am I hearing? I'm hearing that they made this up. So
Yeah.
did they do? Now there's like Caradak's thinking, holy hell, did they do this all the time?
Yeah.
So maybe everything that we stand for and believe in is a lie.
Except juxtapose in there,
You met Tal.
you met Tal.
Yeah, I did. No, I did.
You actually met a god talking to the
No,
Semnathai
no,
and telling him what to do.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is
you, sorry, not you.
Caradak. Yeah, but
yeah.
Caradak is also aware that this is a reason why that sort of goes hand in hand now, because we've got Erstat saying, "Oh, we made this up." Ulmakor's aware of this. I overheard this. Then I know what Tal said. So and that's what gave me allowed Caradak to, go over to Alvar and tell him, "Oh, look, something isn't quite right here. Are you willing to sacrifice yourself for absolutely nothing?" I wouldn't want to see that for whatever reason.
Do you think Caradak understands Alvar's reasons regardless?
No.
So you don't think he understands that just simply to give peace of mind to
Yeah.
the king and queen?
I think he's far
It's
too I think because he's still young.
Alvar's not young.
No,
Oh, Caradak.
Caradak, because Caradak's still young, I don't think he understands that, because he still has that, that bravado where he's like, I see myself as the champion. I am the best, and that's what the whole purpose behind I'm Ulmakor champion, because look, I'm completely unscathed. Yeah, minus that, but I'm completely unscathed. I'm the best, and hopefully one day I'll be the Thane. I'll take over Buso, hopefully one day.
Yeah, with his dead eyes.
But yeah, and that's, he, like you said, he thinks he goes, "Oh, you're obviously a crazy man. You're a madman, man. You don't understand what you're doing." How that makes no sense to Caradak. Why would you just give your life up just like that? Just after all these years of being a champion, then whatever.
I think probably that what it is it's not so much he's giving up his life, because they're all giving up their lives because they are.
No, I understand. I understand that,
but it's
from
more,
my point of view.
but it's also giving it
Caradak's point of
for
view.
no reason. Where he can understand. But if you know it's for no reason, why doing it?
Yeah.
Sell yourself in battle for a reason. Yes, there's a reason.
There's a reason.
But just for the whim of what you're now thinking. But is that just Erstat saying it,
Yeah.
or is it the gods will? Oh, I've met a god, so I know they're real, and they seem to be talking to the Semnathai, which is what I'd expect. But now it's been, which is less of a stretch than finding out that the Semnathai also perhaps are plotting and are conniving. Mm-hmm. It's like that's probably the bit that's like, wait a minute, I thought they were just direct conduits to the gods. The fact that I saw them with a god, well, mind blown, but not really, because
that's what they're supposed to do.
That's what they're supposed to do. But wow, I have actually just said, and then find out that they're also maybe he's human.
Yeah.
With human foibles, that's probably the bit that's got them all like, but you're going to get yourself killed for no reason, because it's for the foibles of this guy, not for Tal. Tal didn't say
that's what Caradak was pushing at, going to say, well, who were trying to get him to think outside the box, to say, okay, I don't get, you said it's not a lie. Alvar, look, I get it's not a lie. You're willing to die even if it's a lie. But look, if you die, who's this going to benefit? Because I'll heard this conversation.
Of course, yeah.
So who's this going to benefit?
And that's the thing, wasn't it, when it came to Alvar, he sees it as it benefits the king and queen.
Yeah.
Because if it's a lie, it doesn't matter. If they believe it, then his death calms them and makes them anything. He's been in service to this family since he was young, to the father, Redmond Drago, and suddenly, he's in a situation now where he's old, and he's like, I'm not going to die in combat. He's not allowed in the shield wall anymore. The odd fights that the Unbroken can do, he's not in it. Because he's a weakness. That's the thing, isn't it? He's a link, like anything else. And if he's old and slow, then he's a danger to the men that he's fighting beside. He doesn't get to fight. I've got nothing. He'll dribble away in a sense, and that's a fear of anyone, especially a champion. And then he's like, well, it's actually given my life meaning, or my death meaning, and that's key there. But well, I don't know about you guys. Obviously, I know that we've yet to have many comments. I know we've got a couple of people here watching now. If you've got anything that you want to bring up, any questions you've got for the guys, but having watched the video, what's your thoughts? Who's Ovid? Where's he from? Who's the Zakonik really working for? What is Ingvar? The visions at the end, dark portents of things to come, and what does it mean with a twin-tailed comet and where it's landing?
Will Caradak ever make detective?
No.
I don't think his path to Batman is getting off to a good start.
No. I think Sherlock Holmes is pretty much
the worst detective ever. what I'm a bit worried about is if he, because of this situation, that his mind is concentrating on developing his new skills, he gets into a fight and falls over.
Yeah.
What purpose do I have?
I just at some point, at some point, will he actually follow a single direction from the Semathai? I want you to do this. Did you do that? No, I did that. Okay, we'll pass that one over. But what I really need to do is to do that. Okay, did you do that? Even better, Master. I did this.
I think for the viewer's sake, it was important for me to allow Caradak to behave this way to show that Ulmakor and Caradak's relationship is completely different. That, yeah, you did tell me to do a thing, but I have the freedom to go, no, I'm going to do something else. Just to appease you, mate. It's just to appease you, but in my own roundabout, outlandish way that, whatever that is, if play detective, whatever it needs, espionage.
Let's wait till the next episode to see how forgiving
this time. So
Right.
did you
I'm so
go
sorry.
back? No.
Yeah, look, I waited for him to leave. I was so prepared to go right in there, march in that room, and look in that chest.
Instead, you went.
Yeah, exactly. Instead, you went to the pub and then
For
somewhere
work.
else.
Went to the
For
pub,
work.
and then off to-
I don't want to
went
be
to
here.
the pub, and I went to the
I don't want to be here.
that place.
the pleasure dome
Yes.
I didn't want to take this. I didn't want to drink the beer for free.
to. Yeah, it was for work, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's fun for
yeah,
work.
yeah. You're not doing this for fun.
Well, again, thank you very much for watching. Please join us on Twitter if you haven't. Hit follow so you know when we're going live. We've got vlogs coming up, mainly from
Loose cannon.
from Mr. Talbot here. Hopefully, as we say every week, myself and Neville may one day actually do it as well.
And when it happens, it'll be the best. It'll be the best vlog ever. When it happens, it'll be the biggest and the best.
Yeah, cream of the crop.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, but Twitter's there. Everyone's got their own Twitter account. Please follow us on all and leave any comments on the page. Any questions, thoughts, feelings? How is it going? What's going on about us? From my terrible storytelling to these guys and their ability to portray their characters to the storyline. You know, who do we think these people are and what's going on? I know that our Luther Holt here is throwing out all kinds of thoughts in the channel, none of which are known to these people yet, because it's back in time. It's it's a historical piece. The Norsemen to the north are the actual threat, a physical threat. The green skins, the beastmen, the creatures, the doglings. But the greater problem that in 2,500 years becomes a common threat isn't known yet. So yeah, we're learning as we go along. So.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week.
See you next week.